I was going to say, let's jump into the draft. Here's our first pick. But then they went from first pick to instantly
fourth.
Navi picking up their duo, and then Infamous immediately responded. So we had Magnus first pick, Alchemist Oracle, and Infamous is like, yeah, Slark is the best counter to Alchemist. We'll snap pick that.
So remember yesterday where I was saying that teams need to learn how to play against this hero before they get into the main.
Yes,
If you're going to do it, you actually have to do it now.
agreed.
You will not get an opportunity later on in the tournament to figure out how to play against Alchemist.
Yeah.
You will lose games for no reason.
I
That
mean,
is always what people complain about Puppy about, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, why did he have to wait till now to figure
Yeah.
out if he can play against Brute? Well, son, like, if you want your team, that's why I was telling everybody, like, don't worry about the groups. I'm not even trying to make any excuses for teams. Like, this is only the first day.
Yeah.
People are testing stuff. I know it's like TI and like you shouldn't test, but like you do have to learn in a real situation where people are taking the game seriously how to deal with these heroes.
Yep.
And if you can deal with it first, you are at such a big advantage to the rest of the field.
Yeah. I imagine, like, even if you, like, teams are going to keep their scrim information private and stuff
Yes.
because everything they learn is going to be for themselves. But I imagine there's still, like, no matter what, even if the match that you play is just you versus this other team, I imagine because of the importance of TI, you're still going to hold a little bit back in your
Yes.
scrims of, like, oh, we have this idea of how to beat Alchemist. How much of that are we going to actually put to the test before it's time to play these games?
Yeah, now is it. Slark, it makes sense because he's, Hulk is this big pinata.
Yes.
And Slark will just like wing.
Oh, you regen up? Fantastic. I love just hitting somebody over and over and over
I was
again.
about to say like wing, 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 but I was like, that makes no sense.
Wait, what?
He has like the. Never mind. I don't understand where I was going with that.
I don't know.
Hard reset. He's just. I was trying to make the sound of somebody hitting really fast, but
Wing, 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 wing.
yeah, it makes no sense. Trust.
You are really bad at sound effects, by the way. Can I just say?
Oh, we were talking about.
You're the Aghanims and Moonshard sound. Can you? It doesn't make that sound. It's not a light breeze.
So we were talking about right before this broadcast, like what people are bad at, like stuff like that, and that's probably mine. Like I'll never be a
Bad
dude
with
from
sound
Police
effects.
Academy. But I think Slark he's interesting in that regard. Like I think we saw him played yesterday, right? We saw him.
Yes.
What was the matchup,
yes.
actually?
Yes, we did.
It was not.
What was
It had to have been the last series of the day. It
Yeah.
was Secret. It was Secret Liquid, right?
See,
Secret played it. That was the game where Nisha was Slark in game 2.
yes,
Yeah, dude.
he was already getting so many stats.
He
early
went
on.
absolute ape in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if Liquid showed up to that.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely a testing phase a bit for Liquid.
But I think that today and the next day are where things really get on fire.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna start building some.
I'm always really forgiving of people on the first day at TI.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that is the time where your individual skill will win out more than anything.
Yeah.
And it'll be a testing. I mean, even Puppy, that first draft he had against Alliance, Arc Warden.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that is definitely a testing phase. And so I think that's one of those situations where it's better to learn where your limits are as soon as possible. And I see a lot of people say like, oh, well, TI's not the time to do it. Well, like, you can't just be scared. You have to let people get certain heroes. You can't handicap yourself so badly in the draft where something is an auto ban because then it makes you predictable.
I hope that drum roll came out on.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to like search for the word predict. I knew what I was going to say. And that is the death sentence of TI. If you become predictable, you will start to lose your games. That is why Wings in DC, the year that they made it so far, where they did this thing where they would like sometimes run Venge carry, sometimes run Venge support, like they kept things as flexible as possible.
Yeah.
And now everyone has stolen that concept of being flexible. That Misery is the one that I will give the most credit to popularizing that.
Mhm.
Like Slardar can be a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
Venge can be a 3. Like he started to really lead that shift at that TI, and people started to see how valuable that could potentially be.
Yeah.
When you could have a Mirana core or something, like you just keep mixing things up to give the enemy team as many looks as you possibly can. Keep them guessing until the last moment.
Do you feel that some of the popularity of Mirana being picked up, do you feel any of that is going to lead into the versatility aspect? Because Mirana has long been one of those supposed to be flexible heroes that could also be a 3 or 2. We've only really seen it 4, though.
I think her base damage is too bad.
Okay.
Because if you're thinking about like how she lanes as a pure one-on-one laner,
yeah,
as a core, it does not feel good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, surely you've played Mirana offlane before.
Yeah. I tried to play it quite a few times when like Forev was really spamming it. This was like a year or 2 ago.
It's hard.
Yeah.
You hit like a wet noodle.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grant for that term. I definitely. You
Come on, wet noodle is not. Grant doesn't own that saying.
Nah, it's like win condition. I definitely, even though I stole it from Hearthstone, I definitely brought that into. You got to give me credit for that, dog.
Yeah, but that's more like giving credit for an idea. Applying that idea to Dota 2, I'll give you credit for that.
Shout out to Hearthstone. I took that. And then I brought that in. People started to way overuse it as I backed away from it hard.
What is this lineup, by the way? Infamous Slark. Okay.
I think
everything's normal. Shadow Demon, sure. And then they get the Life Stealer?
Could be Slark mid.
Could be a 3-position Life Stealer.
They might think that it's a mid Alchemist.
Yeah. I mean, no. Like, a lot of people have been doing safe lane Alch.
Yeah. Then you could go.
Like, I feel like that's what people should expect right now.
You could very easily go for, whatchamacallit? Offlane Lifestealer, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess, like, I feel like I have seen this from some of the SA and NA teams.
Yeah.
Which was the not doing the traditional, I'm going to get a regular offlaner, I'm going to get, this Lifestealer Jug or something that is actually good at laning and stuff and just put him in an offlane position. You won't have the same kind of, like, early initiation power and rotation that you can have, but your lanes are probably going to go really well.
Let me say that I think Lifestealer, independent of anything, is a good hero in this game against the 4 heroes that he sees so far.
Yeah. Do you think he's good versus Sand King?
Well, like, I think Rage is always a good way to deal with it.
Okay.
Like, it's not like the best, but
yeah.
ET, Alch, Oracle.
Yeah, for sure.
They have. I think they're really. You say that about like all inning for lanes and stuff. Like Mag is one of the weakest laners as well, though.
Yeah.
I think it's most likely. It really looks like it's going to be a Slark or a Lifestealer mid.
Yeah. In which case, I mean, honestly, I'm just really weirded out by this. Because it's 3 melee cores on the side of Infamous, and they have their last pick. Like, Sand King's going to match up well into the Slark and the Magnus. Alch can match into Mag only. He's going to lose against Slark and Lifestealer.
Oh.
And they just got last pick Brood.
You have to Mag mid now.
Yeah. That's the only hero. That's the only hero that can go against Brood.
Yeah, I think so too. Unless there's like some crazy interaction with like Lifestealer versus one of these that like I don't understand, which I think I do. It really looks like you have to switch things around and
yeah. Well, Schofield's going to be playing the Magnus, and Whisper is playing Tusk.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I briefly thought about Core Tusk. I was like, maybe that's a thing.
Yeah, but
you have a Magnus.
It still doesn't solve your...
It doesn't solve your Brood problem.
Okay. I mean, I guess Chris Luck will play mid Slark and hope for the best.
I mean, you can't even double stout. Like, that was the way some people dealt with Broodmothers, like double stouting.
I genuinely, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Infamous must have some sort of game plan here. I mean, they did do a really good job of dressing the Alchemist. We'll just see how they're able to handle this magical Broodmother. Na'Vi. They also have the... I'm going to feel pretty good about Blizzy Sand King this game. I think Blizzy, anytime he can get one of these advantageous lanes for a snowballing initiator, like, he's just going to look... Like, I feel like that's his role, He's just going to be great at that.
Yeah, when he got the Legion start last game, that we saw him play against OG.
Axe as well.
You give this guy a good start, he will more often than not deliver.
Like he had a sick Axe, even though they lost that game, right?
Yeah.
By the way, this is Navi did go 1-1 against OG. Infamous only played one series yesterday, and they got 2-0 by OG.
Dude,
so
you know something weird happened to me yesterday? I was looking at the Tide set, you know, the one with like the beak.
Oh, the turtle.
And I couldn't look at it. It was physically making me like feel like weird. I don't know what about it was.
Like dizzy or something?
No, like I couldn't. I was like making me panic. I'm not even trying to like.
Really?
Yeah, it was really odd.
Like you just were unnerved?
Yes, I was like incredibly unnerved to the point where it started making me like I had to look away. I don't know if you noticed.
You know I love that set, right?
It actually stressed me out. Like.
Dude,
Because
that turtle. That
game
is so
you don't
sick.
notice it. You know what I mean? But like when it was like something about it.
When he's staring at you in the draft and he's got his beak.
Yeah, I'm not even
deal
trying to
going
be funny.
on.
So if anybody in chat like knows why that happened, I'd really like info on that. As our game starts, do you want me to tell the Hector thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
We can wait for more people.
I was super shocked by this because I do consider Hector a good player. Honestly, I actually think Whisper's the best player on this team. But I was very surprised to hear about Hector.
Okay, so he actually didn't want to be named.
Yeah.
Until the tournament ended, he said he didn't want to, give anything out.
Right.
But let's call him a tier 1 player. Right?
Yes.
A tier 1 player. Let's even go as far as saying he has won this tournament before.
Okay.
Said that Hector. I had joked and said, like, X player on your team is the best carry at this tournament, like, very jokingly.
Yep,
and he's like, no, it's actually Hector. And I said, what? And he said, regardless of what you think about Infamous, he says, Hector is so legit. He said he is one of the best carries at this tournament, if not, like, top 3.
And I'm not going to lie. Like, watching Infamous, I think Hector was good, but he didn't stand out to me. Like, I thought Whisper really stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in every single game I watched Infamous, I was like, damn, Whisper's just carrying this game.
Nah, the praise was so high that we're not seeing. That's another thing, too, is, like, we don't know these things as well, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you know the person as well. You trust them to make that statement. It's a smart guy.
That's why I was just, like, so shocked.
I legit thought, like, you're just joking.
Yeah.
And no, he tripled down on it, in fact. And the person that was with him at the time also like didn't even know what the conversation was about, and it was like, "Oh, you're talking about Hector." And I was like, "What? Like, is this some like underground fact that I just don't know?" So now I'm just watching all his games to like, see what he's doing that nobody else is.
Yeah, we're gonna keep because whenever players say these sort of things, it's because somebody has innovated an idea.
Yes.
I feel like that's what people said like about Samael. When he was like the best mid, there was certain mechanical stuff that he was doing in the mid lane that no one else was doing.
Who was the C-deck carry?
Yeah, the Shiki.
No, not Shiki. Who's the mid?
The carry. Aggressive.
Aggressive. Yeah, he principalized the idea of rotating at level 6 to the enemy safe lane and then taking that tower.
Invade the enemy safe lane before they invade yours.
Yes. Like
he sets the tempo.
When you innovate something like this, players will. Because there's, like we said, in the carry position, there's not a whole lot that you can do to make yourself really stand out anymore because of the way that the offlane carry interaction works. So the fact that this person is given this kind of praise means that we are probably missing something.
Yeah.
I like that. That's how you looked at it. That was a cool way.
Because, I mean, the thing is like everyone's so mechanically gifted.
Yes, I would
agree.
At
this tournament. I feel like skill-wise, everyone's quite close. Schofield might be in trouble here. Zag is trying to catch up to him, but there's still... Oh, he didn't make it over. That's okay. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. Schofield, at the end of the day, is just trying to set up Whisper for a double wave.
I will ask you, by the way, do you think that they should change this after the tournament? The interaction with pulling the creeps and all that?
Yes and no. So I wrote let's say I wrote like kind of a thesis about like what offlane is and stuff like this.
Okay, you nerd.
And the thing about like the abusing lane mechanics, right? That is just naturally always going to be a thing for the offlane.
Okay.
Like you're just naturally at a disadvantageous state and so therefore you're going to abuse whatever is there, whether it's creep blocking with fissures, like all that sort of thing. So if you just remove every single bit of it, right? You remove fissures, allow creeps to be able to walk over fissures. You make it so you can't actually pull creeps anywhere. All that's going to do is bring back the suicide off lane.
Yeah.
And maybe you want that, maybe you don't. I personally actually enjoyed the suicide off lane, but I imagine that it's not a good game state for a lot of people.
That made the suicide off lane determined a different kind of skill. It was like,
Yeah.
can you be level 3 at 10 minutes and still have impact?
Yeah.
That's when Universe, for example, was like king,
Yeah.
Or
Can you run around in trees soaking experience while dodging the two supports that are chasing you down?
yeah, it was like the kings of that were like Uni and YYF. You remember YYF from IG?
Yeah.
That guy was the god of. He was my favorite player for the longest time, and I didn't even play off lane.
Skewer out. Schofield is going to get a little bit caught here and might actually be chased down underneath the tower.
Oh.
Yeah, the last nuke from the Oracle is going to be good enough.
Whisper decided that he was going to fight Crystallize, and let me tell you,
Blizzy, they drop the sentry underneath the tree area, and Blizzy's trying to fight it right now. He spotted it, but he doesn't actually kill it fast enough. That was actually a pretty sick play, putting the sentry, because that's...
he went for the mad scramble.
Yeah. If you've ever played against these Sand Kings, what they do is they always have a sentry either in place previously or on them, and they're ready at any moment to lay it down and quelling your sentry. Because then once you've lost the vision, then what do you do? Like, you can't do anything.
This mid matchup, by the way, not to interrupt, I think is going much better for the Slark than I anticipated.
Yeah.
And it's because he decided to. Here's what he did. Hold that thought as Seneko at bottom.
Seneko is going to get snowballed. He still had plenty of stick charges, though, and Crystallize is going to make sure he's going to be fine. But it's the bounty runes that they're trying to fight over. Zion is going to be able to pick up one of them, but Schofield will edge out the other. Is Tusk? Oh, Tusk might be in trouble here. They do have only level 1 of the Purifying Flame, so he's not going to die right away. In fact, Whisper, realizing that, is going to turn around and try and get a sick Ice Shards. But, yeah, mid lane, 39-9.
He's gotten a lot of spiders. Okay, so what he did was, if anybody wants to know, is he held all his skill points, only leveled S and Shift, and then just started getting Dark Pact.
Yeah.
So he would just trade hits with the Brood. Get high enough armor stacks, and then obviously Brood being melee was pretty easy for him to do so. Now is the part of the game, I'd say, where it's difficult. Once the Brood hits 5, it's just hard to sustain against her.
Yeah.
That's where the difficulty, I think, in this matchup lies. The thing about laning against Brood is it's always hard once she has levels, and it just gets progressively more difficult.
Does pick up his level 6. Is going to use the Shadow Dance here, but it's also the fact that most AoE nukes are not going to be enough to kill the spiders.
Yes,
because of magic resistance.
That's so annoying.
So his Dark Pact isn't going to actually kill this gigantic wave that's currently sitting and finishing off his tier 1.
Yeah, I think that the Slark, it's a cool idea, but no matter what, Brood's going to Brood you.
Yeah.
I feel.
And now that he's taken that tower, he's going to start taking all your jungle.
Yeah, then he'll farm out the triangle. That's the best part about Radiant side Bird too, is that I think that the Dire triangle is just superior. That is the one advantage Dire have. Everyone's been choosing Radiant nonstop.
Yeah.
The one advantage that Dire have, and this makes Radiant Brood even better, in fact, coincidentally, is the fact that you just get access to this triangle that's so easy to farm, which then naturally leads into the lane. It's a much cleaner lead in to this bottom lane than top is, for example.
Crystallize. This is not the time for Infamous to fight him, as he has level 6. They're going to be able to get the snowball over the side here, so Whisper should be fine. But at the end of the day, Crystallize is free farming. You could see it in the net worth chart.
Oh, look, Blizzy up at top.
Blizzy in trouble, does manage to kill the sentry in time. That's what we were talking about earlier. And then it's a question of, what do you do about this? You just kind of have to blindly throw out spells, and Blizzy having that nice little cute corner that Sandstorm was still covering does dodge most of the damage.
All right, let me throw out hypothetical for you. Is Blizzy actually TPing in front of the creeps? That's
not great.
It's actually
now using Sandstorm in honestly an awkward situation.
Yeah, he's gonna miss the full wave because of this.
Yeah.
But I think the idea that Infamous had is, I think what they were hoping for anyways, is Na'Vi to have ran a 2-2, and then they have this Tusk and this Mag that can pressure Auk.
Yeah.
But that didn't really happen.
No.
Because
they
Sand
did
King is
the-
such an independent offlaner.
Yeah.
The problem with playing against Sand King, I think, as a safe laner is if you get any sort of start or levels, this hero becomes
crap.
like so impossible to stop.
Dude,
Agree?
you see all these stacks? They're going to take all of them.
Yes, they need these too. This
Oh,
is the game.
no. This is just a disaster. Infamous, they got to find a way to get over here and actually put a stop to this. But Magical is so strong, nobody can actually challenge him. As you can see, Stinger immediately goes down. Chris Luck and
he's gonna kill
Schofield are
everyone.
both in trouble here. Schofield unable to make it over the cliff. Probably wouldn't have mattered against a Brood anyway.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, like with Na'Vi, with Magical having to be the person to like perform.
Yeah.
He could be their top synth at this tournament. I'm actually like higher on Na'Vi than I've ever been, by the way. I don't know if you can tell, but
Yeah.
remember when I called them bad and then they beat EG and everyone said I hated them? It's like, that's not the case.
Seneko, he will at least get picked off. Infamous, they lost their stacks. They lost 2 heroes, but at least Slark gets a permanent stat buff.
So we have Crystallize. I played a pub once with Kyle, and he asked me. He was out against. Do you know this story?
Yeah.
He was playing Alk guys, and he asked me. He's like, "Is a 16-minute Radiance good?" And I was just like, "Kyle, that is dumpster. Like, what do you mean? Is it good? Like, how are you an analyst, former top 12 TI mid player?"
Yeah.
And you don't know that that's terrible. Just like relatively speaking, how does that? That's like a normal timing for like a side lane hero.
Yeah. Like Lifestealers, you know.
Yeah, I knew we lost the game after that. I was like, that's not a good sign because Blizzy or Crystallize pretty much has it.
Yeah. He already has the relic, and
If he gets 2 of the bounty runes, he's gonna get it at 11 minutes, which I would say is with boots, upgraded boots is the standard.
yeah.
Because oftentimes people will get the travels later because you don't really need them that early on because you're just going to farm in the close proximity of the jungle anyways. Whisper, in fact, steals the bounty rune. And look at
Might
this.
be
They're
able
not
to
even
get
trying
the
to
other
kill
one,
him.
but
They're
look at
all
him.
in it for it.
Crystallize just running for it.
They
Actually,
denied
the
it.
deny from Seneko. Crystallize would have gotten that, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. He was faster.
Yeah.
That's a game ruin.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a soft report for that one.
I mean, Snowball's only level 1, so it does nothing when it comes to a stun.
All right, so now this game has become a little bit hard for Infamous because they got their stack stolen. That was their own comeback mechanic.
Uh-huh. I mean, more stacks are being stolen. Blizzy is currently sitting on the Ancient camp.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is none of this is good right now for Infamous.
That being said, we always expected Infamous to have a bad mid-game, right?
Did we? I actually thought their mid game was going to be where they needed to be strong.
All right. Did we expect them to have a bad laning phase?
Kind of. That's the thing about Mag is he's not the kind of 4 that pressures you.
No,
He's
not at all.
Mag is a very straightforward hero, guys, in the sense that what he wants to do is slow down the pace of the game and just buy his team time so that they can farm.
Yeah.
He's not the proud centaur-like hero that he
Magnetar.
used. Magnetar?
Well, he wasn't.
Oh.
They're going to be able to get the disruption on Magical, but Stinger is just going to die to the
boy.
Broodlings, and they don't have a good enough lockdown against this Broodmother. He just danced around the trees for a little bit. Now he's going to turn back. Chris Luck will take all those Spiderlings, at least, from the Dark Pact, but he's actually out of mana. He's in big-time trouble. He has another round of Phase Boots coming up, and he's going to have to somehow juke a Broodmother. You can't actually do that. Oh, he actually juked him just long enough, perhaps, as Magical spots him, finally slows him down, but Stinger is now back for some vengeance, actually purging up Magical, disrupting the Oracle. Magical will take a bit of damage, but he should be fine here. At the end of the day, though, that is Chris Luck surviving, not Infamous walking away with a winning situation.
Yeah, and they committed 3 heroes to try to kill him and, in fact, lost their Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
But with Mag, you know, he used to be this, like, boss. Like, you go in, shockwave people, ulti, and now he's been reduced to this Empower bot. And part of it, too, is that you're not a typical 4 hero in the sense that you're going to catch up through getting all these kills. So pretty much, you're not getting the levels that you would normally get. So you're stuck with like level 4 Empower for a really long time and no other abilities, which is like the real problem with the hero.
That was not the ice shard he was hoping for. Was trying to separate Elder Titan from the rest of the team. Seneco's going to be in a bit of trouble here. He does not have his level 6 yet, but they turn around and just blow up Whisper real quick. Chris Luck is still going to be able to finish off Seneco. In fact, Xayah, who's trying to help him out, may be in trouble as well unless crystallize. He's going to make sure everything's going to be just fine. The Radiant's burning Chris Luck, so he's not actually regenning enough to continue to try and fight. They get the tier 1 tower, and Elder Titan.
And this Alk already has, he just keeps running into stacks randomly.
Yeah.
This is the dream Alk game that we're seeing right now, folks, is wherever Crystallize goes, there is seemingly a stack ready for him.
Do you think that Infamous had the idea that this game was going to be the opposite? Because they had a Magnus, a farming steroid with the Empower, and a way to be able to clear stacks, that they were going to be the one invading Alk's jungle and taking that away?
I think the last pick Brood really ruined them a little bit. I think it made the game, it changes the way that you have to play the game.
They're going to try and blow up Seneco. Seneco protecting himself against magic damage, but Whisper with the Walrus Punch. And
one more.
Oh, they're going to be able to find Magical here. Thought he was just going to be able to get a Glip, but that's exactly where
stun.
Hector was. But a stun hitting all 5. Magical is still stuck on the cliff, though, and they will be able to hit him with the skewer, just RPM to make sure he can't actually escape, and they'll give the kill to Hector.
I feel like he should have TP'd out.
Yeah, he had a moment.
He had a moment.
I
mean, you're ET stun 5 heroes.
Yeah,
that is.
You definitely had a moment.
You had a moment, dude.
Stinger. Whisper. Turning back in, thinking about going for the snowball here. Isn't actually going to get close enough to the pickup.
Hits him again. Is there any sort of follow-up? No.
What? Replay? Oh, sure. So Whisper is still going to be in trouble here as he's going to snowball over to the neutrals, giving himself vision off the ice shard. That was nice.
Yeah,
that was well played.
Going to continue to farm up these creeps. Does have his ulti, so fears absolutely nothing right now. As I think we have a. Oh, we're going to see.
Yeah, we're going to see that
again.
replay of.
Literally hits 5 with this stun. Okay,
maybe Magical didn't have TP.
He had one in his inventory. I checked.
Okay. Well, then that's just an error. Bounty Rune, Infamous, going to be able to grab 3. That's actually excellent.
Yes, this is the hidden game that you have to play against Alchemist.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, though.
It's like a little mini game. Yeah. Every time. Can we outmaneuver the enemy team enough to be able to get 3 bounty runes?
Bounties?
Yeah.
As the AC, that's the death ball item. Once he gets this AC, they have to be careful here. As Infamous, they're doing a great job of keeping up in farm relatively. And really, the way that the Slark hero, I think it could potentially work is they're going to get into a fight here.
Through, but Chris Lock's going to take a lot of damage to start this one out. In fact, he's pretty low on mana as well, with the Shattered Hands being used, but Hector is very strong. He's got the Radiance, and he's already trying to deliver some damage out onto this Elder Titan, but there's just not enough heroes to be able to support him. He's going to pop into that catapult and get a little bit of a refresh there as Whisper just fully commits to kill that Elder Titan, but Infamous, the rest of them cannot follow him into the deep end. Navi's just too strong right now.
You know what it feels like playing against Brood? And like to try to like conceptualize why it's so hard. It's like playing against like a living infection. Yeah. And it just like spreads and spreads, and you see webs like continue to develop around the map, and once she like reaches a critical mass, it's really difficult to come back into the game. Which is why oftentimes like you'll see analysts be like, they got Brooded last.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant about like being a mid player and having to focus on so many different things. But it is possible. There are problems with Brood as a hero as the game continues to go on. You are the type of hero that doesn't naturally come with any sort of gap close or stun yourself.
Yeah.
That like having a slow late game is really weak as a core. That's the same reason why TA, for example, before she had her meld stun talent, was such a weak ultra late game hero.
Yeah.
Because you have to get a blink, which means like you're devoting items that don't end up helping you deal more damage or be more survivable.
Yeah.
And Brood is kind of similar in that regard because you have to get so many of these items that are so geared towards the mid game that eventually your hero begins to fall off. And so that's what Infamous now needs to do, is they need to ride out that point where Brood is this really big threat. But the problem with playing against Brood is that she remains such a threat for such a long period of time, and the level 20 talent is so good for her.
Yeah.
That it suddenly becomes another difficulty on top of a difficulty.
Yeah. I think the 20 and 25 talents did so much for heroes like the Broodmother, like the Templar Assassin.
Yes.
It's incredible how just adding a stun to TA actually made her a late-game monster.
Yeah, exactly, because before, she was kind of bad at that.
Yeah.
And the other hurdle that Infamous has to clear, and if they do so, it would be very impressive, is this ALK. It's not like you're just dealing with the one difficult to deal with hero. You're dealing with, the 1-2 punch of both Brood and ALK. Although I will say they're not really synergistic. There's not a lot of synergy between the two heroes, but there doesn't really need to be because they're so independently strong.
You know what's crazy is how close Hector is keeping it right now between him and the Alchemist. He's only 1,500 behind it.
What am I...
Like, how is this only a 3K net worth lead for Na'Vi with an Alchemist lineup, superior map control,
they took every
more
stack.
Towers, more stacks taken?
This is what they meant by Hector just being a beast.
Well, they are going to be able to pick off Stinger here, but...
Dude, Hector is...
I mean, Schofield is just giving the empower to Slark and Hector, and they are actually keeping good pace with these other heroes. Like, Slark is not that far away from Broodmother. And
so what I was told about Hector, on top of the quote, was I think they said no matter what he gets 200 CS by, like, the 20-minute mark. And so far, so good, as Blizzy's going to jump in. There's no detection for him right now. The Rage is going to get dropped as... Hector, in the middle of all of this, doesn't want to be anymore.
Yeah, Chris Luck is also in that same situation. They're going to try and blow up Seneko. They do manage to do that at least, but Whisper doesn't have a way out of this one. Tries to go for the ice shards, but of course that's not going to block Magical, who just walks over those little igloos and just keeps on moving. But Hector, he's plenty strong, and so is Chris Luck. He's stolen some of the stats. It's just the supporting crew.
Oh, the Centaur
stun! The neutral creep started playing with Infamous, and now all of a sudden a big stun allows an opening for Chris Luck and Hector, maybe able to win out this fight. They take away the Aegis. They're going to go for the Elder Titan. They also have the Shrine still up. Magical trying to challenge Chris Luck. He wants to be able to take away that mana, but underneath the Shrine, he's not going to be able to burn him out. Now the RP on top of Magical, the stacks building up for Chris Luck. That's going to be the kill. Elder Titan's not going to be able to get away either. Hector chases him down.
The Centaur stun actually won them that fight.
So did.
I've never seen... That's been such a long time where I've seen that actually have game-changing implications.
Yeah.
Oh my lord, I'd be so upset if I was
They just want to
Magical.
fight before the bounty runes are spawning. So this is going to be a huge one. We're going to try and get up the bounties first, but Crystallize is going to be able to get 2.
They're going to get all of them at this rate.
Oh, jeez. Na'Vi get 3.
Na'Vi get 3 this time around.
But yeah, let's take a look at that. Take a look at that Centaur stun again, as that was just crazy.
Do we have a replay for that? I need to look at this. Okay, so it looks like they're on top of things. Everything's looking fine.
They just keep on killing like the backlining, kind of ignoring the cores over and over again.
So then they get baited at this top area as Hector just runs in. They kill Blizzy almost off the bat, and then they're all inning for Stinger, and this double stun allows him to survive long enough, and they have to recommit for him. He dies as a result.
And then on top of that, it allows them to be able to like get that pick off and move into the Shrine for Chris Luck.
Otherwise, the Brood just goes crazy there.
Yeah.
He needs to continue to hit. And instead, they just lose everyone. Although the gold lead, because of the bounty runes.
Yeah, that was actually really sad. The fact that they won that fight, and I was thinking, oh, they're going to get like 3 or 4 bounty runes, and instead, the combination of Blizzy and Crystallize, they managed to get a kill and 3 bounties.
That was essentially like a really long time period where the Brood's just not hitting. It was like 8 seconds where Brood's just not fighting with the rest of his team because he has to die, respawn, regather his bearings. He has to run all the way to the left. He had Diffusal up too. Like, that is just... oh, that Radiance. It gives and it takes.
And, I mean, we're moving to 21 minutes. Again, 3K net worth is not that much at all. I feel like this is actually... You're almost in a losing position now.
I think the Slark and the Lifestealer will outcore you.
Yeah. So unless Na'Vi, like, pick things up and actually take, like, Elena Barracks, they're going to lose some.
That's why Slark matches up so well as a core, because he comes with his own disable mechanic and Pounce.
Yeah.
The Diffusal just adds to his agi. He doesn't need it like a disable such as the Broodmother does.
Yeah.
And the Broodmother, of course, she has a lot of mid-game items. They're going to get Stinger for free, but at this point they're just sacrificing their other side heroes. They do have to be a little bit careful about this as Whisper going to get gone on. He's going to throw out the Walrus Punch, but...
actually doing a lot of damage to Magical, but unfortunately there's no one there to follow it up, and Magical with that lifesteal is just going to stick on top of him. Now Chris Luck might be able to catch somebody, as Hector's already done so. Coming in from behind, goes for Seneko, who's forced to ult himself. Magical just gets baited out with the BKB. They're just going to sit inside. Chris Luck with the Infest, and...
that's pretty big. That's your 10-second BKB charge. Snako does live because he had a cell.
Oh, no.
Oh, is that the AC?
That's the AC. Crystallize just happened to walk past it, whomped it,
Bopped it.
got a bunch of gold, and took away an AC for Infamous.
And look at the gold lead just
Yeah.
continue back to its climb. They brought it down to about 1K, but after the bounty runes, 2 or 3 pickoffs, this is the thing about playing against Alchemist. The gold lead, it happens in a hurry.
Yeah. Oh, and a Deso for the toss. That is some heavy burst damage. They're going to be able to get the 4-staff out for Blizzy, so he's definitely going to string Infamous along here for a long time. Chris Luck is instead going to try and turn his attention over to Seneko. Seneko, who had blown his false promise earlier, doesn't have it to provide that save this time around. And even though that was down by 6K, plus the fact you lost your AC, so you could basically say it's a 9,000 deficit, Na'Vi did not feel strong enough to fight them.
No BKB on Broodmother, just refreshed up right now, and she can't fight down there. This
Yeah.
is the other weakness of Brood, is until she gets the Aghanim Scepter, which is another item heroes just don't love going off the bat, because eventually you'll get the late game blessing.
Yeah.
You're building into this like item build that just sort of feels like it's geared towards a certain part of the game. The annoying part, of course, is that normally brews just end the game by this point.
Yes.
But Infamous is actually doing a really good job of just continuing to extend. Their two cores have done such a admirable job of keeping up in net worth that it's proving harder for Na'Vi to go for it. I think that one fight actually deterred them from continuing to like take over the map.
Yeah.
If they don't have that one like disastrous fight where the Centaur comes in and stuns them all, they're probably in a better position than this. And instead, they feel like they've in fact lost a little bit of map control, which as a Brood, that's usually the death sentence.
Yeah. Once you start losing that map control and not being able to just like suffocate the enemy team and out econ them the entire time through neutraling.
Yes, because that's the best thing that Brood does, is she takes away the jungle from the enemy team as they're going to walk into the high ground. They get spotted here.
The smoke is going to pop, and Chris Luck activates his BKB right away, challenging Crystallize and starting to steal his stats. He actually gets the Unstable Concoction blow up on himself. He didn't have a better target, but Chris Luck is seeing this and realizing he's getting kited too much, and he can't actually continue to fight that. And I think that was a really smart read by him, but the bounty runes may be given up as a result. Looks like a 2-2 split. Always favorable for an Alchemist lineup, though.
Yes, and that was also the 10-second BKB we should mention from the Slark.
Yeah.
I think he felt like he shouldn't ulti in that situation because Blizzy can just cancel out, so BKBing was the safer play. But 10-second BKB charges, you know, that is usually, you usually always want to fight around that time.
Yeah.
But I think what they're really waiting for, and the reason why Infamous aren't 5-man, is because of the AC.
Yes.
If it was not for the AC, everyone TPs there and they fight, but it's such a big upgrade in items. You're losing, what is it, 2014, it's like 4K gold off of your actual net worth as a result of not having it.
They've got it now, though. Between that and the Deso that's up on Whisper, they can really burst down people with physical damage now.
As we're seeing this mid-tower defense, this would be so big for the map control aspect. We talked about how good it is to gain control back from the Brood.
Challenging Crystallize a little bit while Chris Luck is going to be forced back, but they jump in, do manage to get the Burrow Strike on Hector before the rage, but Crystallize already taken so much damage. Walrus Punch, he will be able to get 4-staff away. Snako finally forced to use that false promise, but an immediate halberd comes out from Hector to protect himself, but Hector, he's now left without a rage and caught by the Burrow Strike plus the Epicenter. Na'Vi are able to take him down. They may still lose their tower because right now they're looking for kills, as Magical has already been able to slow down the Shadow Demon, is hoping to be able to catch up to that Slark, who still has his Dark Pact and actually is going to turn back in for Crystallize with the Whisper coming in with the Walrus Punch. They're going to try for that kill. What's got the RP? Locking down the Centaur with the Alchemist as well as the tanking. The M-Power's doing so much damage. Doesn't quite finish up Blizzy or Magical, so now Chris Luck is just going to have to go for some of the backline heroes in Seneko. Try and get out, but no, the pounce right as he tries to jump in. Blizzy blocks him off with the Burrow Strike. Blizzy's still going to actually die. Doesn't get the disarm off in time. And Chris Luck jumping inside the base, TPing out. They don't have a stun to stop him here. Chris Luck gets the kill and gets away.
The Centaur stun again comes through, stuns 3 Na'Vi heroes. You guys complain about biased casters, but biased neutrals right now, as
that's the real competitive advantage that Infamous have right now.
That was incredible that the Centaur did it again for them. It stuns up Blizzy, it stuns up the Alp, it stuns up the Brood. Oh boy.
So wait, he RP'd and then they got hit by the Centaur Stun
Yeah,
after?
the Centaur Stun
Okay.
hit after because there were so many heroes clumped up.
Sick.
Not if you're a Na'Vi fan.
Intended. Intended. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, Infamous is flying
Schofield
around
says
this.
God.
And the crazy part is if the Lifestealer doesn't get popped like that to begin with, they probably... they're going to win these fights.
You remember how like it became a thing for Darkseers to fight around cliff areas more often?
Yeah.
Now it's gonna. That's the next big thing.
Infamous is going to reel it. They're onto something
He's
now.
RPing around Centaur camps.
They have to be together,
Dude,
though.
Chris
Infamous.
Luck is getting so strong right now. He's got an MKB. Magical cannot fight him anymore, especially with the big walrus punch that's about to come in. They have to throw out the false promise to be able to save him. Chris Luck is going to be forced to use his BKB. Doesn't get the pounce on a Blizzy. Magical turning back, though, fighting and killing some of the supports. Already the Shadow Demon and Whisper's offlane Tusk
This
is
Lark has to
dead.
get out.
And Chris Luck, well, he still has his Dark Pact. He still has his Shadow Dance as well. Think he's going to be okay here as long as he doesn't get hit by the unstable concoction. And yes, he pops his Shadow Dance fast enough. Will be able to get down the cliff area, and they just do not have the mobility to keep up with him at that point. And Hector took full advantage of that at the time.
He doesn't have a TP.
He doesn't have a TP.
He actually ran into the side like he
Oh,
had one.
Schofield's got to save him. He's got to be able to go for the skewer RP and perhaps an infest outer Schofield. No, he's just going to be targeted instead. Gives up his life to try and save Hector, who now has a rage TP.
That was so greedy from Hector.
Yeah.
There's no reason for his or his Magnus to have to die here. And this is sort of sloppy from Infamous. You're
Yes.
strong as 5, but they continue to try to take these weird 4-on-5 engagements, and they're just being a little bit undisciplined. One side goes for one half of Navi's team. The other's core is going for the actual core fights.
Yeah.
They have to sort of link up to each other right now.
Like, your strategy, I think, for the game was really brilliant, and you already won the game almost in a way. Now you just have to execute.
Yes.
Like,
the
you're
gold lead
already strong enough. I would put this at a 70-30.
in favor of Infamous?
Yeah.
I would say it's like 60-40 because
Okay.
I still think that Navi's lineup, it's easier to execute and save their backline. Like, their backline
Okay.
naturally comes with save because they have an
Yeah.
Oracle.
Yeah.
You notice when Whisper commits the snowball, he's dead every time.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
as soon
true.
as he snowballs in, he's dead. Like, against other heroes, the Ice Shards would be very good, but Brood doesn't care.
So how much longer do you have if you're, chain stun onto Chris Luck? He's dead.
He's dead.
That's a big, big kill. They've struggled to bring down this Slark.
And it's that fight around the bounty runes. Yeah, before that moment, I would have said 60-40, but they've just fed kill after kill for
Yeah.
seemingly nothing, really. They're not getting anything out of the map as a result. They're not getting team fights.
Navi's definitely on a timer, though, right? So how long do they have?
I think the timer's sort of reset with the level 20 that's just been picked up on the Brood and the Aegis.
Okay.
And the pickup on the Slark.
Oh, tried to hit the fast Burrow Strike on Hector, but he immediately responds with the Rage, disarms the Brood Mother, so he doesn't actually get any of that lifesteal
that
timing.
Linken's.
And the quick infest into Schofield as his Lincolns gets popped. He's able to protect himself. They're going to try and go for Schofield here. Take out that big RP monster. The backline, though, Whisper tried to commit to Seneko, thinking his Walrus Punch was going to be enough to blow that hero up, but it wasn't. And now Hector's forced to fight alone. Disarm onto the Alchemist, but again, Na'Vi are just looking at everybody else except for Hector. They're going to kill the Shadow Demon here again. They're going to buy back onto Whisper. Whisper trying to make his way in, tries to go for the Snowball, the Gold Scepter. He's going to be able to protect the Sand
just
King,
dead.
and they just immediately jump down Whisper. Infamous are bleeding out heroes, and now 3 of them without buyback. This is just going to be Na'Vi running through buildings.
I would like to see Na'Vi just go for the game end at this point.
I think so. Hector. His rage is only going to last so long here. He does have a Lincoln, though. That's they're going to be able to Yule's pop it, get the Burrow Strike, and the follow-up stun
the Slark is
in
back
from
now.
the Elder Titan, but the Slark is back. They can't overextend themselves. Immediately Cheese being used by Blizzy. They're going to go for that pesky little Oracle, force him to use False Promise on himself, and still kill him. But Na'Vi only able to get the melee barracks so far. As it seems like, even though it was just the 2 cores, they kind of ran out of steam with all the abilities they used earlier. And
Oh.
the RP, they'll use it to kill the Elder Titan.
That gold lead was 1K at one point.
Yeah.
Now it's surged all the way back up. We saw a brief respite for Infamous, but they have to get better at linking up.
Yeah.
They're becoming way too split in these engagements.
I mean, like, the analysis for Brood and Alchemist games is usually the same. That if the net worth is close, it means the Brood or Alch, the side is losing, right? And this is a Brood and Alchemist. They're supposed to be at a huge net worth advantage. And Infamous brought it down to 1K, and then just through messy fights, pickoffs, bled it all away again.
You see what I mean, by the way? Whenever the Tusk rolls in, he just dies.
Yeah.
Like, anytime he commits himself, he's dead.
And he's trying to get BKB, but because every single time he goes in, he dies, he's not getting any gold.
Part of the problem is that, like, his own way to start fights is also his escape mechanism.
Yeah.
Which makes it really easy, for example, for Blizzy to play, because he has so many different ways to keep Infamous's cores on their toes. And once you start to lose all the supports, things like sentries, dust, they become an afterthought at that point.
Yeah, this is why when I've seen these core tusks before, is that like Blink Dagger feels really essential because you want to be able to just blink Walrus Punch them and hold on to Snowball.
Part of the problem is because he's playing against an Oracle, like any other 5 support there just dies, right?
Yeah.
But Oracle's always able to save himself. He just disarms the Tusk after the Walrus Punch, doesn't even have to commit the ulti to do so.
And he's got Ghost Scepter too now, so...
Yeah, and then Whisper's all of a sudden like all by himself in No Man's Land, and he gets killed in 2 seconds. We've seen this story over and over again where like he throws out the Eye Shards, he's like, it's a good Eye Shards, but against Navi's lineup, they just don't care. But they're finally going to take a 5-on-5. We'll see if it's a little bit too late.
Na'Vi are in a really good position. They're going to break the smoke while staying on the high ground, but they immediately spot Hector. That's not the target they want to go for, especially with the Lincolns and the Rage. Unstable Concoction managed to throw it out, gets the two backline heroes too. They managed to control up both Whisper and the Shadow Demon. They fall immediately now. It's a 3 versus 5 with Hector trying to chase down Seneko, but he hides so well, and he's going to immediately have to invest inside of Chris Luck. They do manage to chase down Schofield, so that's 3 dead. It's only these 2 cores trying to get away. The TP out with the Lincolns.
No, he uses himself.
That was a slick little play from Infamous, but Blizzy should have been able to stop it with the Yules. Unfortunately, a self-Yules instead.
The tips. That would have been both cores dying there.
That would have been really nasty.
Ooh. And this game, I mean, it's not getting easier right now, Cap. Yeah. The game has...
It's funny how these cores have the same job, and Navi's just doing it better every single time.
I think that they went for the 5-man a little bit too late, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Like they had such a big timing window, and they kept throwing it away, going for these like weird 4-on-5 engagements.
Yeah.
Part of being a good team is like knowing that you just have to 5-man at some point. Dota has devolved at a pro level to, like 5-on-5 teamwork plays.
Yeah.
And they're just not really doing it right now.
And sometimes that can be hard to read, right? For us, when we say we see a 1K gold lead for Na'Vi, we're like, oh, you just 5-man for the rest of the game, and they shouldn't be able to outfight you because the net worth's even.
Yeah, but Infamous, of course, doesn't know that. Maybe they feel like they're
they don't
behind.
know that. Yeah, maybe they feel like they're farther behind than they are. They just didn't know when to switch it up.
And now it's becoming the net worth difference.
RP on it too. That's a big one. Look at that with the Empower.
That's a gem.
You always have that power. And yeah, that's a gem being traded over.
And even though the net worth doesn't move at all, that is a really big pickup for them. This is where you establish map control. You need to get the tier 2 tower mid.
Yep.
And you need to play with some urgency right now.
Look at Chris Locke. He's immediately looking for that extra hero. Failing that, he will cut the creep wave at top, which just gives you a lot faster map control than trying to run back and collect the creep wave. And they've got a double Siege Wagon push at mid. This is sick.
Yes, and like I said, they need to play with urgency, and they're doing so. As the courier gets killed again, Na'Vi been so good about that.
He's been cutting creep waves. Magical. Infamous cannot go for the high ground anymore, but they already forced a buyback out of Blizzy. Honestly, I think they're relatively content with this.
I love how Magical's played this game, by the way.
Yeah. He's done a great job on this Broodmother.
Yeah, I feel like my statement just continues to prove itself, that he is the main hero that needs to play well.
I think his itemization is good, right? This Scythe pickup?
Yeah, the Scythe makes it so that he continues to be a threat as the game goes on. Scythe is always a useful item.
Yeah.
No matter what happens in the game, you can contribute Hex. And it's a different... I mean, you could go Abyssal, but I actually don't think he wants to fight toe-to-toe with these 2 cores. So I think the reasoning behind not going Abyssal, because your Alk already has one to cancel through like the Rage TP, the BKB TP, is that you can just spawn Spiderlings, hang back. You have the 20 CDR, so the Scythe is even better looking. It looks even sexier. 17 seconds cooldown. Like, all of these things make it really nice for him to play around.
I would add one more thing. I think it's super good against this Slark and Lifestealer because you telegraph the Abyssal, right?
Yes.
But with it, like this Scythe combined with Spawn Spiderlings or Diffusal Blade active, like he's able to just from a distance go, break your Lincolns, disable you.
Yes. And we saw, like, when they don't have their BKBs or their escape abilities up, like when they killed the Slark that time at top rune after the Roshan,
yeah,
like they will kill you really quickly as...
Well, Stinger, chill.
Yo, relax.
Those are Spiderlings with the level 20 talent. They do a lot of damage, and Ghost Scepter may not protect you. Trying to go for the surround, doesn't immediately get it, but does have another round of webs. It's going to chase him down. Stinger
is
definitely dead. The question is whether or not Magical's going to get caught because he's microwaving those spiders and doesn't pay attention to his own hero enough, and he gets caught. And
my
Stinger
God.
actually got away because of that. He went to his hero, was like, oh shit, I'm in trouble, and he didn't try and finish up Stinger.
Oh, we just commended him for that, and look at that, the double tips. Infamous is not making this easy for Na'Vi, but at the same time, Magical. I mean, he was microing, he was throwing down webs.
Yep.
He was not paying attention to his hero at all, and then the danger moment came in a little bit too late as the RP had already hit and connected. He was standing completely still.
Oh, look at that. It's a double damage with level 25 on Slark. He's going to hold on to not a ton of extra agility. He's stolen 18 so far, but he's going to hold on to that a lot longer thanks to this 25 talent. 29 to 19, 38 minutes in, 11,000 net worth for Na'Vi. But again, it's a Brood and Alchemist lineup. This is a lineup that has to have a really big lead, and we're going to the late game against the Slark and Lifestealer with a Magnus behind them. And they're hitting both lanes. Hector is being fearless.
They don't have the RP available, so they have to be careful here. I think they should just be happy with getting these tier 3 towers out.
Hector.
And yes, get out.
Get out. He's going to be Lincoln Stump. Doesn't actually have a rage, but...
I think they should really begin to get out.
Yeah, Crystallize is really pushing his luck right now. He's going to go for the fight onto Crystallize. Does manage to get the pounce onto him, but double force staffs get him out of that one, though. Hector is trying to finish up that range barracks, but they see the Spider is back up in 8 seconds.
Infamous, you're really...
Yeah. I mean, they could just back up and take in the shrines.
Yes.
You know, like there's no reason not to do anything else, especially with Roshan coming up.
And look at this.
Oh,
in the area.
Schofield. Good positioning to be able to get a good RP, but he's spotted immediately by Zayak, and he's trying to deal with that ward, but instead he's going to be stunned up. Bro Strike in Blizzy. Nice stun into the back line. Hit Stinger as well. That's going to be 2 supports already dead on the side of Infamous. Whisper is fully committed to Crystallize, but there's the save from Seneko, and a save on Seneko with a beautiful force staff coming out from Blizzy. Burrow Strike in is going to be able to catch this Lifestealer, and Infamous, they pushed it. They tried to hit a range barracks instead of backing up and just hitting shrines, and that may have just caught them Roshan.
That was such a bad moment for them because Roshan was about to spawn. You take that shrine, all of a sudden you place a ward, you have control of that area. Yep. You have a gem so you know where all the vision is. This should be your heyday, but instead they stick around for a low percentage range racks that doesn't even really... What you need to think about at this point in the game is what changes the game.
Yeah.
Does getting that range racks change the game for you?
No.
Realistically speaking, no, because you're playing against a Brood.
Yeah.
And Na'Vi, I mean, they capitalized on that opportunity in a hurry. I really like that they instantly went for the TP. There was no hesitation.
Yep.
They were saying, even if they're set up with vision, we should take this fight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially since they actually had vision on that high ground, it just made the fight look that much sexier for Na'Vi.
I mean, they were incredibly decisive about that engagement. And I like that they're playing with that urgency as well, but... Infamous, they're really not doing themselves any favors as the gold lead now climbs to a whopping 24k. It doubles up.
Yeah.
After Infamous took 2 tier 3 towers, and
Na'Vi,
they're going to go for it now. They've got the Aegis.
They might just be able to get a second lane of barracks here.
They've got
20
the Axe.
seconds. They've got, and he's actually going to go for the buyback. Hector is saying we cannot give up a second lane like this, especially...
20 seconds up?
Yeah, 20 seconds. That's all it was.
Wow.
And he was willing to go for that. Do you agree?
No, I think you wait the 20 seconds. I think buyback at this point matters more. And your team can probably hold, at least for the time being, because you can Ice Shards around the tower.
Yeah.
And at least make it difficult for Na'Vi to go for. And Na'Vi has picked up some pretty big items. They have the Aghanim's Blessing on the Sand King. He's decidedly 6-slotted. And I think the ET was given the blessing himself. The Synth. As they're going to look for this fight, they've got to get out right now.
Yeah, they really do. Burrow Strike not actually catching Whisper, but the Yule Scepter will slow him down, but he has BKB. Now, finally, dude, Whisper has been working on this BKB for like 20 minutes.
Yes. And, I mean, he opted to go for the 40 XP, but maybe would have considered going for the 90 GPM with how this game has gone. Na'Vi, they were a little bit hesitant there. Just didn't want to walk up any cliffs where the Mag's hiding in the high ground, which I think is a smart decision by them. I mean, my favorite part about games like this is, like, both teams have had an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
At this point, all it comes down to is execution.
Aeon Disc for Blizzy. It's the freshest pickup. A double damage being held by the Alchemist. He's got 8k gold. He's actually going to be going back for a Mjolnir.
It's up at top.
Why is he going back? Oh, okay. Still going to go for it. Blizzy's going to Eul Scepter. Whisper. Doesn't have a snowball target. He's going to be controlled up here, but the RP onto 2 with the Unstable Concoction as well. Crystallize. He's going to stun himself. He's in trouble, but there's going to be the save from Seneko just in time. The False Promise, and actually with Ghost Scepter, he may live for a while. The block in from the Ice Shards.
The Ice Shards hurts him.
Hector doesn't actually get to him while Crystallize runs down some heroes with that Radiance, but it looks like the Elder Titan's going to be left behind. He doesn't have a way to be able to get away as he's burned out of mana. Seneko's just running farther and farther away from his team, so they're able to get out while bottom lane is being gone on by Magical with the Spiders. They're actually able to cut through this backdoor protection so quickly.
He might
that
die
is going to be
twice.
the Aegis, though.
They have bashers for him.
They do have
Stick on
bashes.
top.
He has his BKB. They're going to be able to get that bash, though. He doesn't actually have the active, the Abyssal Blade, so not going to be able to get it. Plus, they have to go over to the other side where the Tier 3's already dead. Hector trying to deal with Crystallize right now, but he's just going to kite him around. His Magical might try and go back into that bottom lane. But Crystallize first has to get away from Hector as he's going to use that Heaven's Halberd. Hector has the Abyssal Blade active coming up, and he's got a Lincoln, so Blizzy has to find a way to be able to break that Lincoln's and get the stun for Crystallize to get out, but he doesn't have it in time. Blizzy may still be caught as well. He's got the Eul Scepter on himself. Blink Dagger up, Cheese as well, but neither one is going to go in time as Hector finishes him up with that Infest Bomb. And that bottom racks, it was looking real low as he fought through the backdoor protection really quickly with the Spiders, but it will regen up now.
And Na'Vi, you see that they still respect the team fight from the side of Infamous. Shout out to Seneko, by the way. He made that fight a little bit better for Na'Vi.
Yeah.
By dragging the Lifestealer away from the rest of the team fight.
He just pulled him so far away from his team and the Spiderling.
Hector's actually just going to go for it.
Okay.
He's going to get the range racks. He's all by his lonesome, does not care. Right now, only 2 heroes up on the side of Na'Vi.
Oh, he got a BKB in his backpack, so now when he pops this Rage, he can always swap something in to keep that magic immunity going.
Infamous is just going for it right now. The buyback from Crystallize, and now this means go.
This could be the way they win the game, or this could be the way they fall. Infamous force out the buyback, and they do not get caught.
Please get out if you're Infamous right now.
At least play back into the high ground area.
You can continue this game on both sides.
Yeah.
I just want this game to go on forever, Cap.
It is been a really fun start to this series, that's for sure. As Crystallock, he's going to try and pounce on a Magical here. Magical actually taking dumpstering amounts of damage, and Crystallock might be able to finish him up, but the False Promise is there.
Oh, the
Seneko always able to provide the save, but the Science just blows up Stinger. He just got snapped, huh? Oh, Zayac gets a little bit too far forward, almost immediately gets Abyssal Bladed. The RP being threatened by Schofield, but wasn't close enough to catch Crystallize. Crystallize is going to pop out with an Stable Concoction. Lincoln's being blown on the 2 heroes. They're going to try and hit Hector, but he rages up. Magical. He's blown his ultimate, so Infamous, another opportunity for them to just back up and reset. But a scythe being used, Magical trying to protect himself, but dodges the pounce. And they're just breaking these Lincolns.
Schofield right now. They're saying he's stunned. We can fight.
Yeah, and Zayac is going to try and run forward. But now the RP, he managed to get it on too. Immediate buyback from the Broodmother. A nice Burrow Strike locking down the 2. They're trying to go for Crystallock. Forced out defensive. Protects him, and Crystallock is able to get away from Magical, who's now going to skewer back by Schofield, bringing them away from Crystallock, away from the carries, but not away from Hector, who's surrounded by 4. He will get Abyssal Bladed up. Now he's dead. Whisper's trying to get out, but no snowball for him. He's going to get beaten down by Crystallize. No buyback on Hector. No buyback on Tusk. Infamous are going to have to hold here 3 versus 5.
And I can't believe they decided to continue to go for it. It was a nice RP, but so many heroes were up on the side of Na'Vi. Infamous trying to just push it a little bit too far. That's sort of been their motto this entire game.
Yeah.
And now with 5 Na'Vi heroes up, they did have to pop buyback, but they know that there's none up on the side of Infamous.
They have the only buyback in the game is Crystallock right now, and he actually had enough that he just bought a Moon Shard and still has that buyback. And he's got tons of stats still.
And you see the Shadow Demon. I mean, he's trying to place out wards right now. Maybe he thought that there was, by chance, a bounty rune. He was trying to get it back for Whisper.
Yeah, 170 gold. That's all he needed.
That was one of those missions where, I mean, that ward doesn't really do anything.
Schofield trying to get the skewer back, misses.
He also doesn't have a buyback, of course, just used it, and they're going to send in their one hero that does.
He's going to try and get a little bit of stat sealing onto Crystallize and force out the False Promise. That's a good start to this fight, especially with Magical being slowed down. It gets Abyssal Bladed up, but the BKB protects him, and now the Shadow Demon's gone out of this fight as well. 2 versus 5. Chris Luck bringing more and more stats. 87 agility being stolen. You can see how quickly he's able to do damage to Crystallize, but he's just going to go in and out, poke and prod at him. There's the skewer onto Crystallize. Blizzy trying to protect him, breaks the linkage, but the BKB is activated by Chris Luck. They won't be able to chain stun him, and they have to get out. Crystallize blinks backwards. Does get the Abyssal Blade onto Blizzy, looking to be able to lock down that hero. He actually gets hit by the snowball. They don't have the
Whisper,
vision.
he's going
to be able
for
to go for it. Whispers indeed. He has the BKB, trying to chase down any hero. Look for a Walrus Punch. Forced to use it on the Broodmother instead. Infamous have to back up. No, they're going to keep going. And Seneco's out of position. Crystallize finds another one. They've stolen so many stats that Na'Vi, they have to retreat. This Slark is a menace in Schofield.
114 Agi right now. They're going to have to back out from this completely. They retreat in time so they don't lose any further heroes, but they bought enough time where they can play around this last set of racks. It doesn't have any defense for it with any sort of tier 3 up.
And that is so scary against a Broodmother too.
But they've held the game so far, and that's what matters right now, Cap.
Yeah.
But Na'Vi, they did such a good job of getting out there. That was discipline. That is what Infamous needs.
Yes.
Na'Vi is a team with discipline.
What? There's a gem on. Okay. Chris Luck gets a gem.
I mean, both teams right now playing their hearts out. I like that both teams are also playing for the win right now, though.
Yeah.
It's making this incredibly fun.
Aeon Disc for Crystallize. He saw how much he's getting chunked by Chris Luck. And he may not be able to depend on this Oracle for the next fight as he's down for 60 seconds. So without that false promise, he has to have a way to be able to reset.
The false promise has been instrumental in saving him against the 2 cores. And now K1, Hector, just beating on this melee racks. This bottom rack's being pinged out too. They're going to split their attention, try to force Na'Vi into a fight. You can see that Na'Vi, they don't want to take an engagement 4-on-5. They don't have the buybacks on the cores.
There is still a tier 2 up in the top lane, so Infamous are not going to be able to go for Megas during this 30 seconds. That the Oracle is down, and I don't think they should really go for tier 4s either.
You don't really know with Infamous, though.
Yeah.
They could just decide to go for it anyways, but Na'Vi, they make the call. They're saying, at worst, we're going to lose. We're just going to make this game even.
Yeah.
And I believe that is the right call by them. Infamous also made the correct call by saying, this time, we've learned we're going to go for the Shrine.
Yeah. And look at the buyback situation right now.
It's become such a... It's just a shit show right now, so nobody has buybacks.
Well, no. Infamous have 4 buybacks.
Yes, but on the side of Na'Vi...
Na'Vi, it's looking terrible.
Na'Vi, that was like their mad rampage. Like, they thought they were going to win the game.
Yeah.
With that, but with so many stats stolen by the Slark, he did such a good job of guerrilla warfare, just hitting in and out, getting away, resetting it. And with how long the stats stay with the level 25 talent, he extended the fight long enough that everyone was able to respawn.
I think that was the same idea behind why they took the 4 versus 5 on Na'Vi's side of the map, was they've stolen so many stats, we can actually fight without the Shadow.
Yes.
You know? It both loses them one fight, but holds them the game, and now Infamous in a good advantage. They've evened out the barracks situation, and they have more buybacks. This is Na'Vi for the next 2-3 minutes. They're very exposed.
So the scary part for Na'Vi in this situation is when Roshan spawns, and if you decide to roll the dice to all in for it.
Right.
Because that is going to be that Roshan. It's a cornucopia. It'll give everything.
Yeah.
It's the 4th one of the game. Infamous will all of a sudden have the double RP if they want it. They could get a refresher too for... I actually think it's not a terrible idea to get a refresher on the Slark. You give him the Aegis first.
Yeah.
Give him the refresher so that he can full toolkit again.
Yeah.
You get double ulti, double BKB, double Abyssal.
Oh, he's got the Aghanim Scepter. Did we see that?
Yes.
I did not notice that. That is actually sick.
I actually think that's the play, is to give him
Yeah.
the ability to double it up.
Like, he can now use it to, like, protect Hector if Hector gets...
and then you give Whisper the Aghanim's Blessing so that he can kick people away.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's how you itemize the Aegis. I mean, it works for both sides, but it just feels really good on Slark because his ulti comes with its own reset like that.
What about the triple purge for Shadow Demon?
I think there's some value in that, but I feel like the kick away, for example...
It can be sick, but it also can play against you sometimes, you know?
I just think that it's... I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. As Roshan has spawned, and Na'Vi, are they going to take that risk? Are they going to try and contest Roshan, knowing that if they lose that fight, the game's over because they don't have the buybacks?
Over. If they lose, even I will boldly say if Infamous lives with their 2 cores and Na'Vi loses either of the cores, the game is over.
Yeah.
They don't have enough damage from the other side heroes. that they can put out. So this is the awkward spot now. If you're Na'Vi, this is playing for the win.
Now, if Infamous plays really fast, they might be able to get this Roshan and still assault the base while buybacks are down. So maybe Na'Vi needs to try and get inside that pit right now. Epicenter being activated. Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't jump. All right.
Okay, that...
TP in, Snake. Okay.
I actually think that's... without buyback on Seneko, I think that's a close call whether or not you RP there. Because you could just give him the refresher at that point.
Yeah.
He has it, in fact. I actually think it's not a bad idea to go for it there.
So we have Cheese on Tusk, Aegis on Cryslock. Do we see who took the axe? Tusk did.
Yeah.
So they agree with you, the Walrus Kick.
I think the Walrus Kick just has more value. I would agree with you if the SD had like 2 more items. But because he gets popped so fast in every fight that we see anyways,
yeah.
I don't think there's...
They know Hector's not here. They know Hector's not here. That's why they're going to try and initiate a little bit. Blizzy's trying to catch people right now, but Cryslock is going to meet anybody who tries to go into this high ground, and it's the Elder Tainoki get picked off as he gets a Force Staff away. Ghost Scepter gets pulled back by the Shockwave, and they're going to be forced to use False Promise. It's not that long of a cooldown, but it might be enough that Infamous feel like they can go for the high ground push right now.
Infamous are insane. The fact that they're risking their game on a 3-on-5 in that position, like, yes, I understand that your Slark's very strong there, but it's still really scary not having one of your main cores and the other one is going back from base, and they're still playing aggressively. I mean, I appreciate it. It's almost like Navi's like a slightly less YOLO version of them. It's some sort of like weird stylistic clash. Like, maybe this is just the best series that we get to cast during these groups.
Yeah, that could be. This is the second Na'Vi series that we've cast in the OG versus Na'Vi one. It was quite entertaining.
Na'Vi is a fun team.
Yeah.
I think they just bring out the team fight in people.
Okay. Level 25 coming in for Tusk. You go for the 15%? Walrus punch it up?
I don't know how many times you're actually going to hit, though.
I don't know either. But I don't know how good 7 seconds of snowball cooldown is.
Maybe if it was like 12,
yeah.
I could see value in that. 7 is kind of...
It's pretty low.
Yeah,
it only goes down to 11-second cooldown.
That's not that... The problem with both talents for him right now is that he doesn't live long enough to cast either of them, really. Yeah. That's the real issue here.
But if you believe in the RNG, you might just be able to go in, Walrus punch somebody, and then right-click them and get a Walrus punch again.
If you believe and can
he's going to go for it. He believes in it.
You can achieve.
He believes in the 15%. All right, so they don't have buyback on Whisper. He actually, because of his buyout.
Let me say, Whisper never has buyback.
Yeah.
He's had a rough one.
That's super weird.
Yo, they dropped the double ward too. They've created the eyes.
Oh, they're going to be able to make the initiation on Hector, and he's actually getting beaten down so fast, but there's the disruption to be able to save him. The RP! He's
going for the TP?
Didn't actually get the blink out. Whisper! He's going to try and finish up Blizzy. He does manage to get him the Burrow Strike, trying to get him away. The kick out on the Alchemist. Whisper, he's going to be able to get out. No, he's side-to-feist up.
Oh, man, I can't believe he decided to try to go for the TP on the Lifestealer. He was in the middle of 5 heroes. There's a basher on the Alk who hits.
And Cryslock is going for Pickoffs right now. At the same time, he's just lost 2 people. He was bottom lane, by the way, when that fight started.
That's Infamous is just pushing their luck way too much.
Oh, this is stressing me out, Blitz.
The thing is like Infamous is actually outplaying them, but then they'll do something that resets the game. And then Na'Vi is a very disciplined team, so they're taking these moments to just say, all right, well, I guess.
Every single time, like, Lifestealer's bottom, let's try and fight. Slark is bottom, let's try and go for a fight
Na'Vi
again.
make, like, the technical decision every time.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Cryslock is just trying to make single-handed plays, which he's going off a lot of these times, trying to get the pick off on Seneko, misses there. Slark does hit the Aegis as well as BKB. He's got his pounds coming up as well as Dark Pact. It's so hard to be able to lock down this hero, as you could see. He threw out the Abyssal Blade, doesn't quite get him. Zayak staffing forward, trying to get himself in position for a good spirit and to stomp. But Crystallock managed to pounce onto the high ground, so he's going to be good. Crystallized.
He just goes to the farm. He actually just stops the farm.
He really did.
Oh, man. This they're funny.
I mean, I watched the Lifestealer die in Tusk, and I look over to Crystallock, and he's farming neutrals. He's like...
You know what this team is? They play with, like, a flair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a definite flair. I actually love both these teams. They might actually be my favorites at the tournament just to cast.
Crystallock. No Lifestealer, no problem.
He's just running
Look
at
at him,
people.
man.
1v5.
He's saying, I don't care. You guys 1v5 can't lock me down, but he gets hit for a burst strike, forced out the BKB.
He's still going for it. You
He's
think
not
I cares,
backing
TI?
down. Apparently not. He's going to Dark Pact. There goes the Lincolns. Doesn't have a BKB. Blizzy almost caught Schofield in that same
He's gonna
position
stop to farm again.
And he's going to hit some creeps. He knows Blizzy's up here.
His team is fighting on this left side here. He no longer has
Broke the
Aegis.
Lincolns, managed to get the Burrow Strike, but the Dark Pact was there. Crystallized, stuns
He's gonna
himself,
stun
and
himself.
Infamous. They're going to come back in. Whisper's looking for his opening. He's going to go for Magical. That's going to be the Neon Disc popped as both of the cores are now going to turn and fight. Magical trying to get away from Whisper. Schofield being hit by the Reans right now is unable to blink in. Snako has an Neon Disc himself, as well as Ghost Scepter. That's going to buy him some time. Where is he going to use that False Promise? Actually already used it, be able to protect one of the cores. Crystallizes now managed to bring down the Magnus. No RP here. It gets kicked away. Now he's isolated. That's exactly why Crysluck and Hector run down to the river and make sure that he's going to be finished off. And now they march towards the base. They've blown their buybacks. They want Na'Vi to do the same here, as they're going to be able to find Zyke. A beautiful ice shards, but a force staff over gets him a little bit farther away from Crysluck. Back to the base, back to safety as he goes. Blizzy, meanwhile, cutting creep waves, wants to make sure that they don't have to blow the buyback, but they do.
And that's going to be all the buybacks now out. From the side of Na'Vi, aside from the Brood, right? He still has it?
Brood has a buyback. Blizzy also has
Yes.
his buyback on the same
Look
king.
at the buyback status of this game right now. 4 people have buyback.
Buyback on Lifestealer, buyback on Slurk. So Infamous definitely have their buybacks on the most important heroes
Yes.
left.
But for Na'Vi, I mean, Crystallize not having it is so massive.
Yeah.
They've got to play so
Blizzy.
careful here.
Oh, trying to go for the Burrow Strike. Immediately gets Walrus Punch up. Yule Scepter on himself. Doesn't have a Sandstorm. Has a Blink. Unable to get it off in time. Same
gotta
goes with the
snap
Abyss
it.
Blade. He's have to go in. RP. Magical trying to go in deep, but Schofield pops for Refresher. Has a second RP to be able to lay it down, but he doesn't have to because the Abyssal Blade. They have another buyback. This is going to be one of the last buybacks coming out from Na'Vi right now.
They still
Only
have the buyback.
ET has it. And Infamous. Not overextending themselves, just going for the objectives
They
right
have
now.
RP. They want to take this fight. They have RP.
They have RP with the Refresher used by Schofield. He can go back
Schofield's
in.
out of mana.
That's why Na'Vi are trying to actually separate so much, but Schofield doesn't actually have a whole lot of mana to work with right now. Whisper immediately jumping onto Blizzy. Is Blizzy trying to make his initiation once again?
Blizzy
He still
doesn't
has
have
that
buyback.
chase. He's going to activate the chase, but it doesn't matter. 100% to 0. Instantly, as Whisper punches him up and down he goes. Seneko forced to use the False Promise on himself. Hector forces that out of him, then turns back into the Megas. Aeon Disc getting popped by Crystallize. They're going to go for this melee racks, but they still had the glyph the entire time. Na'Vi held on to that one, but they have to take the 4 versus 5, and Chris Luck and the rest of Infamous know it too. They see the opportunity. They're going to be able to get the Megas a stomp, landing on it too, but Hector has the rage to be able to slow down Crystallize. He can't quite get on top of Chris Luck in time. The Dark Pact protects him, gets in front of him though, managed to get the Abyssal Blade, locked down the Slark. He's dead. Same goes with Whisper. 2 dead, 3 dead actually on the side of Infamous. 2 of them have buyback though.
And there was no mana the entire time on the Magnus. He had so many different opportunities. I think Magical actually saves the game by hitting him twice.
Yeah.
With the Diffusal Blade, burns just enough mana to keep Schofield more or less useless in that engagement, but he does pick up an Invis rune. They don't have any sort of detection right now, Cap.
Yeah, and this is nasty because Na'Vi feel like they're in a situation.
This is an all-in for them.
They have to force the buyback and thinking that once the buyback goes down, they're going to try and retreat, but they're probably going to be caught by Schofield.
This is such a timely rune for them. As they're pinging towards this bottom lane, there's no boots of travel on the ET, so this is a pure 4-man situation.
They have to be able to create
situation.
an opening where Magical can sneak in and finish up the Megas.
They really want to force the buyback on the Slark, though.
Absolutely.
They cannot afford to get out of this situation without forcing the buyback on the Slark. Otherwise, Infamous will just reset and go for it again. But they might have no choice here. With only 40 seconds, they don't feel comfortable going for this. They know that the Refresher was popped on this Magnus, so he has RP. This is going to dissuade them. They're going to play Megas.
Yeah, the buyback on Whisper is all we can force out of them. We can't go for more. And Infamous, now they're just left in a situation, control the map, go for that next Roshan, which is up in 40 seconds. That could still lose Infamous or Na'Vi the game, that fight around the Roshan pit.
Yes. The thing about Infamous's lineup is they still need that backline support to
Yeah.
be there for control in the late game. So what Na'Vi needs to do is actually ignore the heroes that they know have buyback. Go for the supports, the SD and the Mag as soon as you can. If you can ride out that wave and force some sort of like 2-on-4 situation, that is the ideal play for Na'Vi right now.
And that's why Magical keeps doing what he's doing, which is blinking into the back line
Yes.
and trying to catch them. And that's why Whisper is always there with the counterplay. He always counters that blink in with a blink in of his own. Walrus punches Magical, and then he's all of a sudden surrounded by 4 heroes.
And that's why I really like the kick,
yeah.
so that he could protect as well.
Right.
Rather than looking for offensive opportunities like people do with this ability, I think in this game at least, it shows a lot more defensive capability in protecting that backline. As they're going to go for the Roshan,
Don't
Mega
think Navi
Creeps.
can do this.
Mega Creeps make it impossible
Yeah.
for you to defend this.
It's become so painfully obvious when you try and smoke outside of your base to contest Roshan against Megas.
Now this is
All right, so we had...
this should go for the SD now.
This one is going to go to Stinger.
And now
So
there's,
almost everyone has the
there's a
Aghanim
Shadow Blade, by the
Scepter.
way, on
who?
on the mag, and I think it's because he knows that the gems and the wards are trying to wear a little bit thin.
Yeah.
Especially if one of the supports go down.
I mean, combined with the fact that, like, honestly, a gem carrier just can't sit close enough
Yes.
to see these heroes.
And if the mag is out of the fight, it's more so that Magical can't get on top of him, I think. Because he realized the folly of the last fight was he just ran out of mana because he got right-clicked twice. And being able to play around the SD, or the Shadow Blade, allows you to reset the fight a little bit more. As Infamous, they're going to go for the win right now. They know there's no buybacks. Only
Infamous.
available on their ET.
Taking down the first tier 4. A team that started off their first day 0-2 against OG. May just be able to find their first win of the tournament by bringing down Na'Vi in this first game, but it's going to take a lot of discipline. Here's Blizzy trying to make the initiation, tries to go for Hector. Crystallize follows that up, go immediately going for the back line, but Stinger protects himself with a Ghost Scepter. Crystallize still has that Aeon Disc. Pulse Bomb is going to be used on him. They try and go for the control as best as possible. How much can this heal do for him? They actually managed to kill Schofield. He had no buyback as well. They're doing a ton of damage to Crystallize, and it will be enough. He will pop. The regen wasn't good enough for him. He doesn't have a buyback either. Zai's going to fall as well. He does have a buyback. They have to be able to deal with Magical, though. Magical can still output the damage to slow down Infamous and keep them from finishing up this round. It's a 4 versus 4.
There's no RP, though. This is their best
They
opportunity.
will be
They're
able to
all
commit
in.
their initiation, but he had an Aeon Disc. Meanwhile, the rest of the team's just hitting out the throne. Hector says, damn it, we're not going for heroes, we're going for buildings. It's already down to half health. It's falling fast, and they can't stop it. Na'Vi call it like that. They say we can't stop this game any longer. We can't defend the throne. Infamous. They managed to persevere through so much of that game. They lost control of some of the early laning phase. They're faced up against a Broodmother out. They said it's fine. We're just going to keep farming. They had some fights that just didn't go right for them. They said it's fine. We'll just be able to keep trucking. I mean, the Na'Vi trying to end the game, and Chris Luck's like, I got this, guys. I'm just going to go in and out, in and
That
out. I'm
guerrilla
going to rack up
warfare.
some stacks.
And special shout out to Stinger at the end there. He understood his position. He's like, they're all going to go for. They know that the other 3 cores have buyback. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be the target there. He
Yep.
got all of his abilities off. They continue to try to go for him. He force-stops himself outside the base on the low ground, catches the Alk with the ulti so that he can't reset himself.
Yep.
Then they have to continue to go on him. Blizzy then commits for him, dies for that. And all of a sudden, unwinnable situation. Even though it was already pretty difficult for Na'Vi to come
Yeah.
back, he sort of just put the stamp on that. Infamous. I felt like they were going to win this entire game, and my heart was just like, what are they doing? Like, they just kept going for it. But it's that sort of
Yeah.
flair that also kept them in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Chris Luck pushed that as far as he could with that Slark.
The balls of them when they showed the Lifestealer bottom, and Na'Vi, being the disciplined team that they are, said this is our best opportunity to go for a fight. They make their initiation on, who was it, Stinger? I think they caught the Shadow Demon. Blizzy, Bro strikes him, and Chris Luck goes, we're not in trouble. This is an opportunity. I'm going to position myself where I know they're going to be funneling themselves in, and I'm actually going to get the pick off on this Elder Titan who's just trying to run in and help Blizzy get these pickoffs. He actually sees that as an opportunity. A 4 versus 5 is an opportunity for me to get kills right now.
And you know what the weird part is? I feel like for the most part, Na'Vi played this game pretty well.
Yeah.
The only outstanding mistakes that I saw were the bottom ones where Magical died.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, he finished 17-5 in this game. And I actually don't think they played with enough, like, bravado like Infamous did.
Yeah.
There were a few situations where I felt like they could have just all-in themselves. But they were playing so disciplined that at some point I felt like it hurt them. But, I mean, I can't really fault either team. This was just an entertaining game, which is what we really want.
It's Infamous. Even though they get last pick, I can't believe they got last pick.
They got last pick Brooded, and
We're
their counter
like,
was
they don't have a
Slark
lane
mid.
matchup against it. Slark loses his tower at like 6 minutes.
They got Brood out.
Yeah.
And they still, oh man.
And they stay true to their strategy, right? They stayed true to their strategy. They're like, we've got this Magnus. He got him power. We're going to let Hector. We're going to let Chris Luck. They're going to farm up. They're going to carry this game.
The Centaur stuns. I
And
forgot about
they
those.
did the Centaur
Oh, the
stun.
Centaur stuns.
There's so many moments in this game, and that is just game 1 of this series. So we are going to take a break. It was a long 63-minute game. We're going to take a break and come back with game 2 of Na'Vi versus Infamous. Welcome back. It's game 2 of Infamous versus Na'Vi. It was a very exciting game 1, especially I'm sure a lot of you just like tuned in to the end of that one and was at what the hell's happening. But Infamous, through a combination of bravado, flair, strong strategy as well. Like I think their idea of how to be able to beat this Alk and even the last pick Broodmother that happened, they still had a general good concept of it. Just a little bit of lack of discipline almost cost them the game.
I felt like they could have won that game in like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
A win is a win.
A win is a win.
A win is a win at this
I mean,
point.
maybe you just wore Na'Vi down because you gave them a glimmer of hope.
Dude, they wore me down. I was tired after that game. That's our first game.
That is our very first game.
I got so emotionally invested in
of the day.
Like who would win or lose at that point that I was just like, oh my lord. And it's hype too, guys, because personally speaking, like I genuinely, I won't convince a lot of you, but like I don't have bias. But it is hype to see Infamous win.
Yeah.
Because
they're
genuinely,
an underdog.
Yeah, I thought they were going to
No matter, you could be the biggest SA fan in the world, but you know they are the underdog going into it.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance that they won only like 1 or 2 games. Maybe they still do, but at least they took this one.
Yeah.
They are on equal footing with EG right now, which says more about us than it does about
absolutely.
About
like,
NA.
That could be our bottom place matchup.
Can you imagine
a
world in which it's like they're tied for some reason and it's like to get to the main, it's Infamous.
Dude, if Infamous 2-0's Na'Vi, then maybe it's Na'Vi versus EG for the bottom of the group. Like, who knows? Like,
there's a lot of crazy situations that can happen.
TI, like every single TI that happens, the skill gap between the Tier 1 and Tier 2 teams gets closer and closer and closer, and obviously this year is going to be the closest of all. So let's jump into the draft, as our first pick is already out from Na'Vi. It's an Enchantress.
That's a interesting first pick. I think it's a hero that has steadily been gaining a little bit in my mind, just because I think the laning potential of the hero is very strong, and it offers you some flexibility. Not like a ton, but it offers you some. And we have Nyx Assassin, who I actually think is a pretty good way to deal with.
Yeah.
Break mechanic?
No, I mean, that's what I was laughing about. I think it's
because of the slow break.
I think it's one of the funniest interactions in Dota, which is Nyx Assassin counters Enchantress, the untouchable, but first you have to actually hit him once.
Can't you just keep moving around his Ench?
Yeah, if you keep moving around, like if you get enough distance away from the Nyx Assassin, that his attack gets canceled and he has to redo it. So, it's tough.
So if Blizzy's playing this Ench, just don't stop moving.
Don't stop moving. Keep on your toes. Or your hooves.
Your hooves.
Your hooves. Infamous second pick,
Okay.
Leshrac.
So they have 2 different ways to deal with the Ench now.
Yeah.
2 strong ways to deal with the Ench.
One way is a break mechanic where you right-click her, and the other one is a bunch of AoE damage that you never right-click her.
Overwhelming magic damage.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
The kind of magic damage that you can't just say, oh, I'll just get a hood. That'll be okay.
I'll walk this off. Did you put a lemon in your... or a lime?
It was lemons, and they ran out of lemons, and now I put lime.
How is that going to...
We're talking about my tea.
How is that going to work?
Lemon and honey is like a good way to
lime, though.
help your throat. There's very little difference between lemons and limes.
Oh, really?
The curative properties of them.
Oh, okay. Because,
if you think about it, they're just both citrus.
my girlfriend was making guac,
Yeah.
and she doesn't really... I mean, she's European, so, I can forgive her, but
Okay.
she thought... She had seen me make it a few times, and all she had was lemons and not limes. And she was like, this is disgusting.
For that situation, there is a big difference between them. But for your throat, it's like they're both citrus.
I was like,
so.
when did you figure it out that, you use lemons? She was like, I figured it out pretty quickly as soon as I took the first bite.
Alchemist again. Infamous are saying, go ahead.
Dude, Alk is jacked. Like, his arms are, like, veiny and huge, but he's got a bit of, like, a power lifter gut.
He's got, exactly. He's got that power lifter gut where they're like, it doesn't really matter if my belly's showing because I'm such a beast anyway.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, he's got another dude that he has to constantly carry around.
Yeah.
That's like, that's training with, like, 50 pounds on you. That's Goku.
Hey, he's also, let's be real, not to call the competitive integrity of this competition into question, but he's definitely on roids.
Yeah, for sure.
'Cause that's
he's
what
not-
chemical rage is.
He's not all natty.
He's literally roiding out right now.
He's honestly, I don't want to say anything, but he's definitely he's juicy. He's got some picograms in him.
Sub bands. This time, there's no Slark, no Ancient Apparition. We didn't see a last game, but we've seen it as one of the best counters to Alchemist in previous matchups. So Infamous may have to take a different approach. They can still get the Lifestealer, but it definitely felt like the Slark was the real good answer to Alk.
Oh, for sure. They seem to really like that. And the funny part is that Navi agrees. They're like, you know what the problem was? This Mag, this Slark, and this AA.
Yeah.
So now let's get rid of all the counters. And it would be a huge boon to, I think, Infamous, just their confidence. If they could knock off this Alk again.
Yeah.
And you know what? That would probably have longer implications for Navi as well.
Yeah.
Because people are going to look at this and say, like, Navi's Alk is not everyone else's Alk.
Mhm.
Like, this is, for me anyways, this is a statement game for both teams.
Yeah.
If
Because
Navi
we've
wins
seen
this,
much better teams
yes.
test the give a team Alchemist and see if we can beat
And
it.
they've lost the lesser
And
teams.
they've lost.
But Infamous, I'd argue, is a worse team than Navi, even though they just beat them. But
Mm-hmm.
the Alk principle, it's always interesting. It's like, what team can beat Dro at this major will be able to win.
Yeah.
What team can beat Leshrac at TI5 can win.
Mhm.
Like, what is the OP hero that a lot of the pros agree on, and what is your, what is your solution? Like, what are you gonna roll the die as? Although I just heard EG gave up Alk Chen, and let me say that is crazy.
Didn't work for Liquid. It's
Let me
certainly not
say
going to
that
work
is-
for EG.
Yeah, that is not the
Dude, both those teams do not look great right now.
what Liquid and EG.
Yeah.
Liquid looks a lot better than EG. Let me say.
That's probably true.
Pull out. We can't check the. Can you check the? Can you load it so that? Can you load up the standings for me? Like the in-depth ones. I just want to see how the games are going so far.
Yeah.
And that way we can update the homies. If you guys are watching this game, I know we're like stream 5, but like thank you. You keep us food on the table. Appreciate it. And you
I'm
guys
pretty
are,
sure they're not here for us. I'm pretty sure they're either Navi or Infamous fans.
I mean, for sure, but like that you're ride with the team that you're gonna ride with.
But if you're listening to this, it means you haven't muted us.
Yes. Dope.
It's like if you're reading this, it's already too late.
Yeah. Navi Infamous. Oh, that's a Jug.
Here's your standings.
So I've seen Jug versus Alk before. Multiple times, in fact. It was Pycat. Pycat would run it a few times when he was on, I can't even remember what
Alliance?
team. Maybe NIP or something. I saw it like twice.
Mm.
And I don't really... It's interesting because obviously the spin and the healing ward are very useful, but it feels like your hero tops out at some point.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Okay, so would you like to know what's happened today?
Sure.
Wait, hold on. Where's the in-depth? Just give me a second.
I'd like. They just don't seem to show the in-depth on this page.
I thought it was this page.
It usually is, but for TI, for whatever reason.
Group stage.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
click
that's
group
probably why.
stage.
They probably have just a.
Okay, so as of today, guys, we're going to update you on how everything has gone, and then we will give you the updated standings, hopefully. So, if you aren't looking for spoilers, you're just looking for this specific game, here's where you earmuff it. I'm going to give you a 5-second window. 3, 2, 1.
Dazzle!
So, Vici has taken a game off VP. EG apparently got obliterated by OG by giving them Alk Chen. NIP have beaten Fnatic, which maybe means that EG is just a lot weaker than we thought,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
judging by how the other teams that they've played against so far have looked.
Yeah, honestly, the Fnatic outcome, I don't think. Like, I didn't walk away from that thinking, oh, maybe Fnatic's better than I thought.
Yeah, I didn't
you
think
know?
so either. And then, so far in the overall standings, if we're just going to take a look at those, in Group A, Secret, of course, they're in such a good spot. The bottom two teams that you guys want to know about are Alliance, Chaos, and just above that is Liquid. Very scary for them.
Yeah.
In Group B, we have Vici heading things up with OG, a team where, honestly, a lot of people were hating on before this event, but, maybe this is just their tournament. And at the bottom two, we have Infamous and NIP, but that's a little bit of a fool because EG have played more games than some of these teams.
Yeah, they played a whole series more that they've gone 1-1.
Yes.
RNG, Infamous, and NiP have only played one series. Obviously, Infamous is in the middle of their second series, which they've already got one win in, which means even if they lose this game, they would actually be right there with EG.
I think they'd be ahead because they played one series less. Even if EG win.
Oh, EG's played 3 series?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
This
right,
is
because
the
they're
third
in
series
the
right
OG
now.
right
They're
now.
0-2 Fnatic, 1-1 Na'Vi, and if they go 0-2 against OG, they'd actually be last in the group right now
Yeah.
by like a full series, which is incredible to think about. As Dazzle Warlock, a pretty passive. Okay, so the one thing about Navi's drafts, it feels like they really love the save. And look at this.
Last pick, Broodmother, us? Nah, we last pick Broodmother, you.
Oh, that's fun.
That's dirty.
I like it.
I'm presuming it. Does that actually beat Dazzle that hard? I don't think it does. Because you have Shadow. First of all, like Poison Touch is going to win the lane initially, and then you have Shadow Wave to deal with some Spiderlings. Like I think you actually have enough to that Brood won't be able to just
If you
run
just
you
get
over.
like webbed and spidered on though, don't you just die? I
Maybe.
mean, I don't see Brood lose a lot of aside from Kunkka.
I mean, I could see him. I could see the Broodmother dying early though. You've got Earth
Okay.
Spirit plus Dazzle Poison Touch. Like that is a really potent combo.
You're gonna need Zayas to do a lot this game. Okay, but as I was saying, Na'Vi seem to really like to save with Alk. You know, they drafted the Oracle. This time they have the Dazzle plus the Warlock.
Yep.
It feels like they like that mechanic. I think they are treating this Alk as like a true one this game.
Mm-hmm.
Last time they had some soft measures. This time they're all inning for it. They've got 3 heals plus an Alk.
That's a lot of heals.
It's a lot of heals.
It's a lot of supporting cast. They do have a secondary damage dealer, much like they had with. Do you I think you always want a secondary damage dealer when you
Yes.
have Alk, right?
The
So-
other thing too that there's 2 ways to run Alk.
Uh-huh.
It's either you make him this overwhelming force, like you pick a Beastmaster with him, and then just like he has the Aura plus Solar Crest,
Right.
or you treat him as if like he's any other carry,
Mm.
where you pick a lot of stuns around him so that he can just continue the team fight.
Yep.
But in this regard, they just decided to treat him as like the, like the power buff raid boss. I guess Magical then has to go the Crest. I feel like Solar Crest makes this hero like even better. It speeds up the
Oh,
timing
yeah.
even more.
Yeah. It gives him a nice armor buff, which I think is really good for him. The offensive use of Solar Crest is obviously incredible for Alchemist. He already has his minus armor. He has a physical damage nuke, a physical or unstable concoction.
Don't die, my darlings.
Half-two-legged abomination.
You know, part of this is I always like to see is I think it's kind of cool, the hero chat wheel lines, because it goes to show how much that player has practiced this hero in their pubs. Like if
When
you
they have 'em all?
Yeah, you see the level 25, you're like, all right, this guy's
Do you have any 25s?
spamming it. No,
I don't either. You would think I would have it with Storm, but I'm only 14.
I am close. I think I'm level 20 or 21 on Pango.
Dude, you're more of a hero spammer than I am.
I also play more games than you, though.
That's true. But I'm trying to catch up, dude.
Yeah,
I'm actually trying to grind Dota like a lot more.
yeah.
I just needed a break from being terrible at the game.
I mean, I think the cool part about the new matchmaking system is that like I'm excited to like be able to grind together with people. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, not you.
Dude, I'm a sick player.
Like me, you can hit me up when you're back to 6K. But,
I think no, I lost a lot recently.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, this new matchmaking system, the minus 40 plus 10, I've almost lost my 6K. I was almost 7K right before TI, and then the new matchmaking system came out. and I
Yeah, but
just-
you're terrible, and like, I'm actually Oh, hold that thought.
Are we gonna lose Stinger? Or sorry, no, it's not Stinger. Stinger's right now the one just trying to catch the Earth Spirit and set up Whisper. And now that Whisper's here, he actually has the level 1 split Earth to make sure they get 1 stun into the follow-up chain stun from Schofield, and Zayt's will
They've surrounded him.
ball. They're
Get
gonna
him.
give it to Whisper.
Oh, they're core givers.
Yeah.
There's 2 types of teams. There's either the guys that, they're gonna right-click as furiously as they can to get the last hit,
Yep.
or they're going to give their cores the kills.
Yep.
Alliance their supports will right-click furiously.
Yep.
Insania is getting that last hit.
OG will do everything they can to give the last hit to their cores.
So like you know how to divide them.
Secret, Yapzor's taking the last hit with Fate Bolt every time.
Yes. He's a Fate Bolter. I mean, I admire it. What an alpha play, as Magical is in fact top. They've switched things around so that crystallizes one-on-one against the Brute.
Disruption into spin. Zayac trying to get the roll away, but is hit by Schofield's Impale.
Dude, what a stun.
The Earth Spirit dies
And they
again.
give him the last hit again. They're going to risk it so that he gets the last hit every time as top lane. I mean, Whisper... The best part about this situation, when you're in a one-on-one and you're in the safe lane, it feels fine.
Yeah.
Magical, though, you know, he's been relegated. They're like, okay, this is not a good lane for you. See, they agreed with me, man. I was like, doesn't Brood just die? Or doesn't Brood just kill the Dazzle? Like, pretty easily, too. Because if you think about it, if he ever isolates you and you're not in your creeps, you're dead.
Yeah.
And you can't stop him from farming, and you don't pressure his tower. I think is like the two things that make Brood okay to deal with. Either you can kill his spiders really easily, or you can pressure his tower. And I don't think that Dazzle does either of those. Then again, I didn't think Slark did either, you know. Whoopee.
That was so wild.
That was.
Seeing a Broodmother like take a tower by 6 minutes and then have all this map control and them never being down by more than 3k
Hector,
during
man.
that first like
Apparently
20
Hector's
minutes.
just the best player we've never heard of.
Yeah. Stinger. Setting up the Impale, but they didn't feel like they could really go for it.
Yeah, Blizzy still had cooldown for not of a second on his Nature's Attendance, but with it back up, just a little bit scared to do so. As Whisper is, I mean, he's not doing terrible in the top lane, like at least when it comes to levels, and that's really what you want on this hero. You will flash farm and catch up on this hero, as he's actually going to go for the fight, and that'll be a mistake.
Yeah, but he's right next to the trees, so he may get hit by the poison touch, but they can't reset it.
Never fight against Dazzle.
I mean, this is a lane that even though it's like annoying, it should be kind of okay for him, just because they shouldn't be able to kill him. Right?
Who's the one that strums the guitar in like a really cool way? Is it Air Spirit? That has like
no,
that
he
riff?
rides his stick.
Yeah, that's
like
what,
a
but
surfer.
it plays the
Oh yeah, it plays a little bit of a surfer jam.
little I really like that. That might be my favorite. As Whisper is non-stop spamming the disco. Literally
Yeah.
hasn't stopped since the lane started.
I mean, there's not a whole lot for him to do, right? He just keeps on battling against an Echo, so.
Or as Slacks calls him, Sonico.
Sonico.
Poor sweet Sonico.
Blizzy activates the Nature's Attendance, and Schofield is going to be able to hit the stun, but this heal over time is going to be able to match that Blade Fury, and it's not enough damage, and Schofield's going to be the one who dies instead if he does get hit by Zayac one more time, but he won't. He has the boots to be able to counteract that Orb of Venom, dodges the roll-in, and Schofield's fine, and he laughs his way to safety. Meanwhile, over the top lane, Whisper trying to get the kill on Seneko, activates the Fairy Fire, but it's not enough to live.
I think
And
he's
he
getting
does
frustrated.
Yeah.
This lane's not fun to be in right now. The bottom lane, they made the classic mistake of thinking Ench was a killable hero.
Yeah, dude. It's not. They just max out. You think like, oh, we don't have.
Oh, what?
What happened? Dude, I caught so many kills in game one.
I mean,
missed, like,
I can't
one
blame
of
you
them,
for
but,
that.
like, what? All right, well, Crystallize just turned around on a gank, killed the Broodmother,
With no stun.
and he killed the Nyx Assassin, right? Now he has level 6. Dude, fighting Alchemist under Acid Spray is actually so hard.
Yeah, but you had to stand under it to die.
Yeah. Whisper's going to die here. At the same time, they do manage to kill the Earth Spirit again, but Hector's going to get traded out for it. So this time around, the Juggernaut doesn't just easily run around getting a kill. This is not... Blizzy's having a great game.
I mean, everyone on Navi is having a great game.
Yeah, this is... well, Infamous did have a rough laning phase last time, too.
Yeah, but it was a little bit different. No one got solo killed like this.
Yeah.
Crystallize actually just got a walk in for free double kill on a core and a support. And not like a super under farm support either. Like this guy has boots.
It's funny, they did that gank when it's like, oh, he's about to get level 6, like, let's kill him while he's still 5. And then that just actually sped up Crystallize's timing, and now he's level 7.
Dude, his timing is insane now. As he's going to pop the ult, does not care now about Schofield's presence at all.
They just can't do enough damage to him.
So last game he got the Radiance around 11 minutes. With that bonus, we'll see if it speeds that timer up a little bit more.
Plus the fact that he's a successful mid lane, is that better for Alk than safe lane? Right? Just
yeah.
because the experience.
The levels, man.
What is happening?
Dude, people are just dying. I feel like Jug was unkillable.
Yeah. Apparently not. And Sineko, well, he's definitely killable. His heal is actually doing him a lot of work, but eventually they should be able to run him down. This damage over time, bit by bit, is being counteracted by the Shadow Word, and Whisper's actually taking so much damage from Roland. They fatal bonded as well. They could be in big time trouble. Whisper's
the fatal bond's
actually
killing
dead.
both of them.
The two-man stun, he gets out the stun to follow it up, but Whisper is dead.
Wow. Na'Vi is working him right now. They are thoroughly outplaying Infamous.
They really are.
And look at this Crystallize. You know, he's saying, I'm not a slouch in mid lane. I know how to stack camps.
The Radiant side Alchemist is I feel like dirty. Because you're so close to that camp, you'll just never miss it. Zion's trying to get the roll away, but Hector sticks right next to him. The Shadow is still going to be enough. It keeps on out-healing this damage over time from Infamous, whether it's the Blade Fury coming out from the Juggernaut or the Edict attempt by the Leshrac. They just can't seem to finish the job.
This is twice now where they've gone for it. They've committed quite hard for the kill. Haven't ended up with it. And 7-3, this game doesn't get easier, Cap. This was your last pick Brood to try to have a similar game, and it was pretty disastrous, if I'm honest with you.
Centaur running in. Blizzy gonna get a solo kill on Whisper. Look at the difference between these offlaners. Level 7, almost level 8 Blizzy. Whisper, only level 4. Nice kickback. Hector uses that opportunity to get a Blade Fury on top of Magical. He might be able to get the kill if he throws out the Omni Slash, and he doesn't actually have a Shallow Grave, so Magical is dead. Disaster strikes as Science thought it was an opportunity to get some damage on Hector, actually kills his core.
And look at this. He's coming to steal the stack right now on the Brood.
Take
you
the
need
stacks,
to do stuff like
he's gonna
this.
get rolled on. They do have the Acid Spray. That's going to be able to take so many Spiderlings. That actually, experience-wise, probably wasn't as good, but gold-wise, it was probably still worth it for Crystallize.
And the SD Stinger comes in trying to should kill up these creeps. And did he pop it in time? I don't think so, because Crystallize did just get a good amount of gold. And he's going to get the ward. He got 134 gold for that. They're in such a good position right now.
Hector again being gone on by this Earth Spirit. They just keep on putting the pressure there because they know they've got this nice one-on-one bottom lane that is going to go well for them. And Crystallize is 1v1ing mid. It's going to have a very fast Radiance at this rate. Looks like another round where the 10-minute bounties will finish up the Radiance for him.
This is such a good timing. He got it at like 11 last game, and I thought that was fast considering he had absolute free farm.
Yeah.
And because he had a tri-lane devoted to him, and this game might even be quicker. Plus, he went Soul Ring, so like he had to expend even more money, where he just went Bracer last time. It's like he's going to be in a sweet position right now. More or less has it. Dude, he might even get it before the bounty runes.
What happened to people not going the unstable concoction? Cool, roll down. But there is going to be the healing ward. Hector micros it pretty nicely. It still dies to Magical, but at least he got it away from the Earth Spirit. Got a few more seconds.
I think it's because you just want to rate boss it now.
Yeah.
And like hit buildings, and yeah, you got it before the 10-minute mark.
Dead again. Like this Edict is so bad in this game for him because he's dealing with Enchant, where this Enchantress has all these extra creeps to be able to tank it up. The Shadow Word was super effective. And it looks like Stinger is still going to die as well at bottom, so that's a double kill for them.
They're going to get
bounty
the bounties.
runes. That was 3 for Na'Vi. Did I count that up right? No, 2 for 2.
2 for 2, but you know what the wild part is? It didn't matter because Crystallize had the Radiance before. He got it at 9:48.
Damn.
That is a timing cap.
That is a timing indeed.
which means he's already 1,000 gold into his Blink Dagger. A fast Blink Dagger this game is going to be ruthless.
God, this timing it just gets better and better. If you're a Na'Vi fan, your emotions, you got to be pretty happy right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're so far the kings of 1-1. But that'll sneak you in.
Yes. Yes, it will. Whisper going to be spotted by Blizzy here. Activates the Diabolic Edict. This heal over time is counteracting. They will manage to hit the Impale. That'll be enough. They're going to drop everything they have, though. The Warlock Golem trying to counteract as much as possible, but Earth Spirit still being damaged by the Blade Fury. Now just the Omni Slash going over to him, but it's 6 on the Golem instead. Now he's left exposed as Crystallize sees the opportunity to TP in with the Unstable Concoction to kill the enemy court carry.
And Hector's trying to do whatever he can, but
look at that.
They're
TP
just in
out from Earth Spirit.
Such a rough position right now.
Trying to kill Snako with the Soul Catcher,
got
helping
him.
this burst damage, but do they? It's going to be a little bit close. They're going to go for the third poison. Snako is actually fine, especially with the heal from Dazzle.
Oh, look at that body block.
Stinger's fine, though.
We just appreciate little moments like that, as
Yeah.
the mid tower is taken by the Brood.
That's good.
And funny enough, his build is completely different than the one we saw last game. As the roll-in comes, doesn't have mana, the kick for the
Can
slow.
he get out of vision? He's got to get away from these impetus shots, and he does.
Look at his spider legs, just panicking. And he's going to back himself out. In fact, going for the Midas into the Aghanims. He's playing for that level 20 talent right now, Cap.
Yeah. You think this is a game where he's going to have to play a little bit more split push Gorilla style? Like
yeah.
that's what the Midas Axe build is, right? Is you're just controlling the map, running around, dodging
I think it's
fights.
really hard for him to fight.
Yeah. Hey, bottom lane, Whisper's dead.
Thank you for the update.
I've said that. I've said that 6 times this game in 12 minutes. Yeah, I mean, Whisper had a rough game 1 too. Like he came in the clutch in some of the late game situations, but
Cap, they're going to deathball it.
yeah, they're deathballing real hard right now.
They have this Dazzle with a Necro Book.
Yeah.
He is going to be strong. I would like somebody on their team to go Solar Crest this game. I don't know.
Well, he doesn't have to. Like, he can do the classic Dazzle core thing where he only goes Necrobook 1 and then goes back for the Solar Crest.
I feel like Solar Crest has a lot of value in this game.
Yeah. Especially with this Blink Dagger and Crystallize, they can be able to burst down Crystallock some of these times. If not, they can at least kill some Spiderlings.
He wants to burn them. It's
Rack
kind
it
of rough
up.
to think about. Poor spiders.
What poor spider. Dude, I hate spiders.
Spiders are great. They help, they're just homies.
Dude, I know they eat bugs and stuff, but that doesn't stop me from hating them because they're gross and creepy and weird.
They're useful.
That doesn't change the fact that they're gross, creepy, and weird.
No. Opposite day. As Whisper's going to take this bottom tower, or at least trying to, and the trade will be this mid tower, and maybe they just continue to go for it.
This is the right idea, though, right? If you're at this point and Navi's deathballing, you literally just
You have to
stay away
split.
from them and try and take as many towers as possible.
Oh, look at this. He's going for Greaves. They're really going to deathball this at some point.
They're just going to be impossible to kill.
Greaves, they're going to have 4 forms of healing. They have a counter-initiate tool with the Warlock Golem. I will say, I think as the game goes on, like in an ultra-late situation, they will lose.
Navi will,
Yeah, I think so.
because they have a Dazzle core.
Yeah, with the type of heroes that they have, I could see them losing.
Zayas, they know he's here because the Diabolic Edict has spotted him out. They're going to try and run him down, but Crystallock, thanks to that damage over time, he's like, oh no, my Spiderlings, my poor babies, I had to retreat, but Whisper will be left behind. Couldn't do enough damage to kill anybody.
So many hits of the Poison Touch.
Yeah. 2-7-0 now for Whisper. His Tusk had a rough time for the first 40 minutes of the game, and it's looking like a repeat performance here in game 2.
Yeah, and we saw this sort of dominant start from Na'Vi in the last game. So, they should try to reset themselves, continue to stay a little bit more disciplined. But it's a little bit of a different situation because of the solo kill.
15-minute bounties. They're going to hit the Impale, making sure that was smart from Schofield. He could have gotten greedy and gone for the Vendetta hit, but better to make sure that bounty rune is not picked up for the Alchemist line.
And this is the least amount of farm that I've ever seen Hector have. Only has 100 CS right now. Na'Vi have done such a good job of just choking out the farm.
relatively speaking, it's not that bad from Hector, right? But with his performances so far, he's been so good at finding farm
Yes.
that this is subpar for him.
And in this game, they've done such a good job of shutting him out. They've been following him around, making life hard for him, sticking the Enchantress in his lane. They've done a very good job. Na'Vi,
Blizzy.
they're going to go for the smoke here. They want to continue to play aggressive with this Alk. He's got BKB too. He's hit the next tier timing. He almost has the AC already on top of that. I mean, this guy is an absolute fiend right now with that gold.
Just the little things turning
Dude,
off his radiance.
you know this
as they
happened
move
last
the
game
smoke
too?
Around.
Crystallize, they did this exact smoke. He found an illusion.
Whoa! They still managed to hit him with the roll-in, but he's on the high ground. They just need to stay out of vision. Don't get spotted by the Unstable Concoction, but he does. Out of a spider he goes, but he has the Aghanim Scepter underneath the tier 2 as
Cap,
well.
this
Na'Vi
exact
can't go
same
for
thing
it.
happened in the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally the exact same situation. That's crazy.
They're going to force down this tier 2. Schofield trying to hit the impale right now. Pump faking a few times, but he knows. He's like, nope. Can't save you, Stinger. I've just got to get away from Crystallize, who's prepping that Unstable Concoction. Na'Vi will
split.
turn back to the tier 2.
Look at this. They're going to protect their catapult. What a team.
Whisper is doing the same thing, though. Like, he's just going all in for these side lane towers every single time. He doesn't care about his life. That's
should
why
go high
Na'Vi
ground.
are just going to go for the high ground.
They should go for this.
We're saying we're unkillable. You can't stop us. So hit all the tier 2s you want. We're going to go straight for your base. We're going to go for Stinger, try to slow this entire thing down. Hector shows up with a healing ward, but look at the Necronomicon's just running at that healing ward as best as possible. Does manage to pick it up, and Hector takes a lot of damage. He's not going to feel good about fighting right now, especially with no Omni Slash. So that's going to be tier 3 dead. Whisper just keeps it going at the tier 2. I think Infamous, as sad as this is the best play they have.
Yeah,
they can't
they
actually fight.
They will lose a 5-on-5, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Especially against the Rock, as this is the second time Stinger's popped out, and last 2 times he's died for it, but with the BKB on this Alk, 17-minute racks, this is so well done right now by
Broodmother's
Na'Vi.
going to come in from behind, though. They're saying maybe we do have to try and fight. They've already lost their melee barracks, but they're going to go for it anyway. Crystallize gets
stun
impaled,
of
and now the
Crystallize.
chain's done. He's going to be stunned up by his own Unstable Concoction. They have to throw out the early Shallow Grave Whisper. Yule Simpsons himself. Meanwhile, the Omni Slash is able to finish off that Earth Spirit. Stinger gets run down by the Cores of Dazzle, and it looks like the healing was still too much. Even with the chain stunning on Crystallize, he honestly did not get close to death. Even with the Shallow Grave on him, he was good 50% or more the entire time. They will be able to grab a creep wave here, but spin out. Will be able to dodge that Unstable Concoction. Can't dodge the impetus shots, though, and that's why Hector will fall.
Way too strong right now at this point.
I
This
mean, what
Alk-
was the point of fighting when you've already given
Yes,
up the
they've
melee
lost
barracks?
racks. It's always weird when things like that happen, when teams decide to go for the fight after the fact, as we see Crystallize. He's loading up the stun right now.
knows.
He knows.
Won't spot him, though.
If the neutral creep had hit him,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Crystallize, I like how aggressive he's being anyways in this game. And Na'Vi, it feels like they learned from last game. They're like, we probably played that a little bit too carefully, in fact. And they're just sort of going for it non-stop, keeping the pressure up. And I feel like the only thing that's changed is they don't have the Warlock Rock, but I don't even know if that changes too much. I feel like with the AC, it's strong enough to offset what they just lost, and they should just go for it again.
It's kind of surprising to me that they're only down by 7,000 net worth on Infamous. Then again, they do have a Broodmother.
Yes.
So,
The
a
Brood will
Broodmother
keep
with
you-
Midas as well.
The Brood will keep you relatively even-spirited.
Yeah.
But this top push is going to be hot and heavy, and
Yeah.
the AC has now been complete.
I mean, his build is not designed to fight, and Na'Vi, they're taking full advantage of that, right? They're
Yeah.
just like saying, well, since you can't fight us,
Congrats on all your webs.
yeah.
We're really happy for you. Na'Vi, if they want to be super disciplined, they could go for the Roche, but Cap, they're taking a page out of Infamous's book. They're going to go for the 4-on-5.
Yeah.
And in a mirrored situation, they're going to lose the Courier to the Brood, and they don't seem to care. They're just sort of going for it. They've got the AC on Crystallize. They're saying this is enough right now. The backline going to get
into the
assaulted.
stun. They're not going to be able to get the BKB off. Crystallize feels fine. He's going to go for the Chemical Rage, but that's why Chris Luck is going for Sneko. Will be able to take him down with Stinger, as well as, the roll in. That's going to be, unfortunately, Schofield going down. Magical does get stunned. He's not going to be able to get the TP away. Magical will fall to the Spiderlings here, even as Crystallize tries to save him. And at least we'll be able to get some spiders on his way out. They have to cut the creep wave.
Dude, the BKB Brood's a beast.
And bottom lane's in trouble. They actually need to be able to go back, defend this tier 3. Hector needs to make sure he doesn't get stunned into the silence, though. He's going to be in a bit of trouble, but there's just not enough coming out from Zion so that they will be able to TP out.
Like 100 health, if that. Okay, so the BKB Brood, we definitely underrated that. That is strong. So we're going to see again, you just see Chris Luck skip his way towards the backline. Sneko without that Warlock Rock has no way to defend himself, and Magical wanted to save the Grave, it looked like, just for himself. But he was able to just 1v3 there in the backline.
It's kind of crazy that, like, Infamous could have fought 4 versus 5, but instead they left Hector at bottom lane and took the fight 4 versus 4.
Yes. Na'Vi this time, they're like, we gotta just go for it, and it almost cost them a pretty big fight, but
yeah,
goes relatively even. Of course, they don't have Blizzy there, who's
going
for the full-on carry build, let me just say.
Blitz.
What's up?
Level 20 Broodmother. He's finally online with his real split push threat. And he's in the split push position right now.
They've got to go back after this.
Well, are they even? They're being delayed a lot by Stinger right now. The disruption going out, they're going to try and roll out on the Earth Spirit. They will be able to kick him back into the pool. Really good play there. And Na'Vi will clean up that kill, but they've been significantly delayed. And look what's happening to this bottom lane.
They can't give up on this Rosh,
but they cannot give up on this Rosh.
The stun on the Crystallize.
But Crystallize, he actually gets his TP canceled. That's why Infamous are going back into it.
Lord.
They're going to hit the tier 3s without the damage dealer of the Alchemist. They might just be able to fully commit. There it is, the Omni Slash instantly on his eyes, but he gets the roll away just in time. But the melee barracks isn't going to be able to survive. They're still in trouble. They could just spin out quite easily and be able to get away. Look at that, Infamous. Oh, they dropped the rock. They're going to be able to catch Hector still.
They might go for Roshan themselves. If the Brood had TP'd and doesn't have it, but they get Raxed. Unbelievable. Infamous. The stun by Schofield was sick. On the Crystallize?
Yeah.
That alone probably saves them that Rax. If he's able to get there.
They're probably still going to get Roshan at this point, right?
They need to go back in. But, I mean, everybody from Infamous is about to be alive. And they don't really want to leave this bottom area.
No.
Brood really needs a TP, is what she needs. Because I think what you want to do in this situation is actually force them back and get the Roshan yourself.
Yeah.
Because getting a range Rex at this point, I don't think really matters too much to Na'Vi. Oh. You've already lost the melee.
Yeah. Part of the reason he can't go and take the time to get a TP right, though, is he wants to keep this pressure to try and keep Na'Vi away from that Roshan.
Yeah, and in fact, he's going to bring Clarities to himself, but not the TP.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, he has to return it. Come on, man. Okay, he returned it so that he could get the Javelin and the Quarterstaff.
TP's for noobs. You just get an Aghanim Scepter and run around the map really fast.
That is so funny to me.
Crystalline's going to stun himself.
He actually turned around. He's like, the funniest part was he baited us so hard. He's like, oh, okay, I actually forgot something. They're like, all right, he's doing the right thing. I guess he can get to Roshan pretty quickly anyways.
Yeah.
I sort of wanted them to
makes him run so fast, but
yeah.
They have full control of that Roshan pit area now because these Alchemists, the only hero who can push out bottom lane by himself.
Yes. And again, I will say that I didn't think it would even get to this point because I felt like Na'Vi was just going to end the game. But if it does come to a late game situation, I do think Na'Vi loses.
Yo, shout out to Whisper, by the way. He's going to die again. But I think a lot of his deaths have been really acceptable for the space he's created.
Yes. Although, at the same time, Na'Vi's really happy with that.
Yeah.
I think it's acceptable, but I think it even loses them Rax, or not Rax, Rosh as a result of that death. So, like, it's kind of okay, but at the same time, like, you don't have that 5-on-5 threat anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't actually think it's
I think in Whisper's head, he was like, oh, but this means Chris Luck can push in bottom, but we already talked about it. Pushing in bottom again doesn't actually change anything. Na'Vi, they're going to try and contest the Roshan, but this time, they immediately jump on the hero that shows themselves. Singer's going to get caught. Schofield just kind of running in, stunning up some heroes as fast as possible. Buy time. That's all you got to do, because mid lane, the tier 2 is already gone. And here comes Big Daddy Broodmother. Chris Luck runs into the barracks, and they can't actually finish up Roshan. Look at this. Alchemist has to come back. It's a Dazzle alone inside the pit to try and finish up Rosh, and he can't do it by himself.
And
the buybacks are going to come in from Infamous now.
The bottom range rack has been taken.
And look at Hector.
He's already taken that range tracks. He's going to be the one now, hit the tier 3 mid. But they got the silence onto him. Hector. You should have just let the Broodmother do this job, and now Whisper, he tries to come in, but here comes Schofield, managed to hit the 2-man impale. Whisper's going to be able to follow up that Sun onto Death,
kill him before the grave?
and then get him off the Guardian Graves, and now he's going to be able to get off the Shallow Grave. Turns around, gets some damage on a Whisper, but Broodmother's here. Here comes Crystallize as well, though. 2-man Sun inside the pit. They do manage to get both of those kills on Roshan, a double for him, but Crystallock is still trying to fight it out. He doesn't have his course anymore with the Juggernaut dying. Now Whisper's dead as well. Crystallize just too big for him to take the one-on-one fan fight. So Crystallize, he's going to root out the rest of these infamous heroes. He's going to say, damn it all, kill them, root them out at the stem, and just go back into the Roshan once 4 of them are dead. Finally, we have squashed Infamous and will be able to take Roshan themselves.
The mid push, they still have creeps. They're going to lose a tier 3 tower potentially.
They certainly are if these spiders can just keep on going, but Crystallize is saying enough and it's enough. I have to finish up this Roshan even if it costs us another tier 3.
Yes, you actually have to prioritize at that point. It's taken so long. Wow, I can't believe the game is in this position.
Absurd.
This is winnable now for Infamous.
Oh, it certainly is.
It's winnable for both teams right now. I really thought that Na'Vi just had it.
Dude, they looked like they were indestructible.
Yeah, boy, do I love being proven wrong.
And then that level 20 hit for Chris Luck. I mean, you said that's what he was playing for. And as soon as he got it, he was playing in the split push position, and it changed the entire game.
Oh, I love... You know when you're wrong and then you get games like this?
Yeah.
That are just like... These two teams are destined to just... They should play each other nonstop.
Best of 5.
I would love to see a best of 5 with these two teams.
All right,
Na'Vi
well,
and Infamous are both very entertaining.
There's
teams.
only one best of 5 in the International Blitz.
I would... Let's skip ahead.
Let's go. Grand Finals. Infamous
Grand
versus
Finals.
Na'Vi. Moonshard coming up for Crystallize. He's fully 6 slotted.
Yeah, and you have you've got like two, like you have such similar heroes in the sense that like both their net worths are always going to look very inflated.
Yeah.
And now K1 Hector has come back in a big way. His net worth looking pretty reasonable himself.
And then Dazzle's dropping off, like you said. Same goes with the Enchantress, actually. This Enchantress looking pretty rough to Crystallize. He's going to have to carry it himself, and he's trying to go for the kill on the Broodmother right now. Gets the Abyssal Blade, but the lifesteal's actually keeping Crystallock alive, and he's actually trying to kill Crystallize, but now the Magical shows himself. Crystallock realizes, I can't actually kill them. I need to be able to grab myself some time, and he can't get over the cliffs. He's done too much. He took too much time. He turned and fight an Aegis Alchemist. Just not the best idea.
I think he really overrated his strength there.
Yeah.
He has 2 defensive items and a Midas. That is not enough to fight the Alk.
Certainly not.
That Alk is going to feast on you. And a lot of your talents are Spiderling based.
Yeah.
You know, he has the plus 125 spawn Spiderling damage, the plus 30 Spider's attack damage. That's not good to fight the Alk against.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care about either of those talents. So you have half your items, half your talents that don't really do anything against the Alk. He forgot where his bread is buttered, which is splitting up the map.
Zneko. Just making sure his R key still works.
They're going to go for cap.
Offering is up, and they're going to go for it.
Without the Brood up.
Broodmother down for 30 seconds, and Infamous are not in a good enough split push position to really force Na'Vi back. 2-man impale. If the supports can stall this up enough, maybe Whisper can actually do it. But first, Schofield's going to have to give up his life as the Earth Spirit managed to lock him down with that silence. Back over to the mid lane, though. They have to fight through the backdoor protection. It is going to be taken away as Hector pushes in that top lane. They're going to try and go for the TP out, but Crystallize is here. He's going to be able to catch Whisper. The tier 3 still falls, but Whisper will fall with it over to Hector. He's going to be able to get away, it looks like, as Whisper finally does die. Turn around, Omni Slash onto poor old Zneko.
But he does have a Basher.
He does have a Basher, so he won't be able to just simply spin and TP away. It's not going to be that easy for Hector. He's going to run the other direction. The Impetus Shot's doing so much damage, and one last swing from Crystallize gets that carry as well. Infamous, the split push is what actually brought them back into this game, but now it's actually costing them too many pickoffs.
Live by the sword, die by the sword at this point, Cap.
Yeah.
And this bottom bounty rune, if you're the Brood, you really want to take it.
I mean, it feels like Na'Vi are adapting to this faster and faster.
Yes. The fact that they sent their Alk back and they were able to simultaneously retreat, that's a good move.
Yeah. And the later into the game,
getting the pick off on these split pushers and more effective because the death timer is long.
Plus, they know that they still have their Aegis for a little bit.
Yeah.
So going for this push doesn't feel as bad. And you see on the other side of the map, the Brood pressuring the Shrine right now, trying to do whatever they can. They didn't even stop to get that bottom or the top bounty rune on their side.
I mean, he's got to go for the melee racks, though, at this point, because this is a hefty push coming in from Na'Vi, and he's got to find a way to stall it. They've already lost at least. Schofield Stinger does survive through that impetus shot, but he's already used a lot of his abilities. Crystallizes come back. Seneko was in trouble. The Spiderling's trying to finish him off. He gets the kill right before a fountain of explosion of gold over to the bottom lane. Now that they don't have Crystallize, Whisper feels like he can go for it, but he's slowly but surely being chipped away. The Bloodstone's keeping alive. The healing ward was not going to be enough. Blizzy does manage to carry through this engagement, gets the kill on the enemy core, and they will stay in an offensive position here. They will hold this creep wave to Infamous's base while Crystallize makes sure that Crysluck can't go for the split push again, but they can't really retreat so easily, and Hector's going to take advantage of that. He's going to be able to Blade Fury, staying on top of Zions. There's going to be the disruption on top of the Shallow Grave. That means he's not going anywhere. He's immediately going to be impaled up. Schofield trying to hit him with a Big Vendetta. Doesn't get in front of him, though. A little bit of a spin away. He has the gem. He can't afford to lose this. Another rollout. He's going to be fine. If anything, Hector's got to be
Crystallize. He's coming in.
Taking so much damage. Crystallize. Here he comes. He's got the Unstable Concoction. He's got the Abyssal Blade. Breaks through the Lincolns, though. Doesn't have the immediate stun. Can he get a bash? One swing. Not good enough. A second. Not good enough either. Crystallize does not chase down the Juggernaut, but it's back to the buildings. And Broodmother's feeling the pressure right now. He feels like he can't go to mid.
He still doesn't have a
has to
TP.
back up. He wants to be able to go back in the Omni Slash, going in and bounce over to Crystallize. Crystallize taking a lot of damage to Shallow Grave. Will be able to buy him a little bit of time.
The Brood is here finally.
The Broodmother is finally here. He's got to fight with his team. And he takes on Crystallize. They do manage to get the stun onto the Dazzle. He's dead, and Blizzy left alone. Last time against a Juggernaut, he can win that fight, but Broodmother is too big for him. And same with Whisper. With this kind of backup, the damage is going to overwhelm Blizzy. He will fall as well. Infamous. They adapted this time. They're the ones to change up the game. Chris Luck forgets about split pushing and joins his team for a team fight.
And I think the reason why he's not carrying a TP because he's assuming that he won't have webs in that area anyways, and he can just make his way across. I'd like to see him have it anyways, but this bottom fight, that was so lucky. How many times he got on top of Crystallize?
Yeah.
He just served up this kill for his Brood on a platter. Lucky for Na'Vi, though, they didn't lose the gem, which would have been even bigger for them, but losing 3 heroes like that, they might actually be forced to use the buyback on the Alk, which then puts them in such a weird position. They're going to go for the top racks. Look at it just fall.
It's going to fall so fast, and that's the way they've got to drop this Golem and see if they can deal with the Spiderlings. So Spiderlings actually killed the Golem
They have no
first.
glyph cap.
Oh, no
You've got to buyback Crystallize.
The buyback, it's only 25 seconds for his death timer, but 25 seconds is too long. Chris Luck, they got to force him back. He tries to go for the spike carapace done, and he gets it onto Crystallize. Now the disruption. The
They're all in for the
Rex.
Rex.
They are going to try all in for the Megas right now as Hector's trying to finish out that melee. He does manage to get it. Now the range, it's so low. Chris Luck goes back up to the top lane. He's to try and deal with Zyx right now. Pops his BKB. Buildings. That's what Chris Luck needs to go for. Range Rex.
They're going to get it.
Mid. Hector, he sees his opportunity. One swing is all it takes to be able to get the Megas, and no one from Infamous will get caught except for the Broodmother, who has his buyback.
Did Infamous actually has Mega Creeps right now?
They have Megas.
They're up 5K.
They're up against an Alchemist
how is
lineup.
Na'Vi losing this game?
Infamous does it again.
They're just going to go for it right now.
They have no other option.
But they use the buyback with 20 seconds left. I actually think Crystallize had to use it earlier or not at all.
Yes.
He made the worst of the 2 decisions because by waiting in that position, he forces his team to go all in anyways because if he dies once the game just ends.
Yeah.
And he also put his team in a position where he wasn't up there fast enough where he could pressure the people hitting the racks.
Yep.
So by holding the buyback, he put himself in such a rough position, and they're going to continue to go for the split push right now.
Dude, look at this. Yeah, like they know the pressure is there, but Crystallize is saying, we have to go for the
They're
throne.
all ending for the
We
throne.
have the death, so I'm the raid boss. They couldn't fight me before. Maybe with this full-on 5-man fight inside their base, Infamous, they're finally going to be forced to do something here. They can't go for split push anymore. They can't go for the throne themselves. They have to be able to win one fight against Na'Vi, and they can win this series. But Crystallize with a BKB, he's ripping through the throne with that Desolator.
He's going for it. He's got it.
He's got the chain stuck. The Shallow
He's
Grave
got
to
it.
keep him alive. Plus, he's trying to finish up.
Oh
and
my
get it.
god!
Na'Vi! They get Megan, but it doesn't matter.
And Hector actually came back too late. He thought he had better